the show. Hey guys, I was just letting Instagram know that we are getting started. Hello and welcome back. Thursday nights, I go live here on YouTube, and I am excited that we've already got two awesome people here in the back. We've got some people backstage who are going to be joining us. And I have a good show lined up for you today. You guys know the drill. If you have been here before, comment your city and state, please, and let me know where you are watching from. I want to tell you how the show goes if this is your first time. And if it is your first time, comment newbie. Even if you're watching on the replay, I want to give you some love if it's your first time watching the show. But this is how it works. I have a page devoted just for men. I think I'm 10 guys short of 1,000. We started it at the towards the beginning of the year, this spring, and guys get to answer questions that I ask Monday through Friday and give their unbridled responses. Had some really juicy ones today and yesterday. I can't wait for those to be ready to post for you guys. I give them a couple days to answer. But anyway, we come back, and the previous week, we share the answers here. I go over quite a few. If you want to see every single one, you can go to my Patreon page and you can see all the information there. I guess I should put the little thing here up. Okay. So this is what the page or my Patreon looks like. If you go to patreon.com/Yonci, you will see this lovely app. You could either do the website or the app. We have a lot of fun. And by the way, speaking of Patreon, I am giving some love to those who wanted to come party with me in November. We are having an event. Excited. We have a celebrity chef. We also have a surprise celebrity that I haven't even told them. And thanks to a very, very generous sponsor, this is all happening. So very excited. We just filled up the guest list today. I think there's like one spot left. But anyone who is a Patreon member, you guys can join, and it's I'm feeding you guys a full dinner by a celebrity chef. We've got the chef from Chopped. It's 2023's champion on the show, Chopped. I think that's the Food Network, and he's going to be serving us up some delicious food. We've got an event Friday night. We have an event Sunday, and Saturday's the big one. So very excited. Let's see who is watching. We got Kenny watching from Washington, D.C. Very, very nice. Edward is watching. Greetings, sir. Is this your first time watching the show? If it is, please let me know so I can shout you out. Good to see you, Ray. Very, very glad to have you. You are watching from Waldorf, Maryland. Very nice. All right, guys. So I'm going to bring in our guests from backstage, and let's get this show started. Oh, it looks like one of our usuals just went off camera for a second. You get to be the newbie joining me by yourself for a few minutes before Willie comes back. Hi, Ray. Nice to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So are you coming in totally blind, or have you seen any of the past episodes?
I prefer to come in totally blind.
Okay. So you don't know what to expect, good or bad?
Nope, not at all.
With you. Well, I will say this. We are unfiltered, we are unbridled, and sometimes we're a little bit out of control. So for anybody who joins the show and you decide to join me backstage, it's always open to any patrons. I post the link every week for my patrons who want to join. A lot of people popping in from time to time. If you ever need a break, shoot, I'd be trying to refill my water, taking a bio break, whatever, just turn off your camera and that'll take you off the stage, and you pop back on when you feel ready. Don't feel pressured to stay, but we love to have you. Shout out to Willie. Nice to have you, sir.
How are you?
Welcome, welcome. We got Falake joining from Rockland County, New York. Oh, it's Edward's first time, and he's watching from Jamaica. Very nice. Oh, I didn't even pin the comments. Y'all, go ahead and watch on YouTube. My bad. I didn't even give you the info. Let me pin this here. So if you're watching on Instagram, you're just seeing the side of my head. You're not getting the actual show. This is just a little prompt so that you guys can come on over to YouTube and watch the show here. All right. So have you been following the news? I don't really watch the news, so a lot of times I just see stuff on social media. But I think everybody might have seen the Diddy bust. Did you guys see I thought it was a joke. I thought somebody was, I don't know, Willie, you said it to me or Monte said it. Someone said it to me, and I was like, I thought somebody was like trolling or whatever. But they say he literally was caught with 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube among other things, weapons and things like that.
He called 784 dildos too.
Are you being for real?
I swear, I can send it to you.
This is so wild. And what's crazy is, people were defending and saying, no, these accusations are outlandish, but there you go. You got the evidence right there.
I've been telling people Diddy was a freak, so it's like it's not no surprise for me. Like,
it's so
he had that grown man running around carrying an umbrella for him.
Like, I always thought that was crazy. So I remember my only Diddy experience, LA, anything goes. I remember going to an event. We would always my girlfriends and I would get invited to different events. So there was one that looked like it was kind of interesting. It was this kind of smaller club. And we go to park, and I think they wanted like $40 for parking. And then at the door, they were charging $200. And we're like, I mean, LA is expensive, but you're going to usually charge maybe $20 at the door. And it was because he was making an appearance. And we said, we're like, it is not that serious. Jump back in our car. And we were out of there. So I'm glad that I didn't have to share space. But people were talking about how making the band, he was showing all kind of signs. People just get excited over celebrities and they be putting up with crazy foolishness. Kaylee, welcome. She said, hey. Those of you who are OGs to the show, we just started answering, or I just added, starting last week, some trending topics for the week. So we're opening up the show with a couple of things. I've got one more that I wanted to discuss. So Taylor Swift, I don't know if this was true, if she actually directed this at him, but apparently former President Donald Trump said on his Twitter, I hate Taylor Swift, which is, interesting way to use your platform if you were the leader of the free world. But apparently she really pissed him off when she publicly endorsed Kamala Harris. And apparently she had some pictures of her showing endorsements for Trump, but they were AI generated. So she was talking about how scary it is. You think about that, like, somebody could say, oh, I have proof of you doing such and such, and it's not you. I think about relationships and things that could be really scary. So I'm going to put this video up. One of my friends posted this. He's from Buy Black. He reposted it from Twitter, I believe. But this is the video that was supposed
somebody that I don't know, but you're taking shots at me like it's Patron, and I'm just like, damn. It's 7 a.m. Say it in the street, that's a knockout, but you say it in a tweet, that's a cop-out. And I'm just like, hey, are you okay? And I ain't trying to mess with your self-expression, but I've learned a lesson that stressing and obsessing about somebody else is no fun. And snakes and stones never broke my bones, so you need to calm down. You're being too loud.
So I never understood, celebrities endorsing. Oh, not me still having the Diddy title up. Sorry, guys. I didn't even let's see. I never understood like the celebrity thing. I've never been on the fence about which candidate to vote for, and saw some celebrity and was like, oh, now I got my answer. Let me put this up here. Clap back. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so that was interesting. I don't know if that was real or they just, obviously the video is real, but I don't know if they just added the stuff in there or it really was her quote unquote response. That's how it was headed up, but very interesting, very interesting. All right, well, we have stalled enough. We're going to get into these questions. Shout out to Lindsay. Nice to have you, darling. Good to see you. We're going to jump into the first question. I went pretty simple, easy on you guys this week. And I'm going to ask you a question, actually, Ray, before we get going. So I love having new blood on here. You can get your opinions. Do you think the guys are pretty honest when it comes to the answers to the questions?
Absolutely not.
So don't give it away when I ask, Willie. But the question that I asked yesterday, we'll just say it had to do with, do you remember what I'm talking about? Okay. So everyone's saying they're not going to answer. And I thought, having it be a poll that no one else could see the answers to, there would be some honesty. But, a lot of you guys said they're not going to be honest.
No, we're not. And you know what? You men of the world, shoot me if you want to. That's fine. I'll give you that. I'll drop the location if you want to. But let's be real. Like, when you ask that question, I'm like, my first response was, do you need video evidence of that?
Right. Oh, that was you?
Because I'm like, I already knew how everyone was going to answer. And it was
as you can imagine, there was like 90% picked one.
Yeah, and I was like, really? Okay, like, that's why I was just like, okay, but I was like, you want to jump out there? I guess I was like, let's see, social experiment. Let's see how people are going to answer. And I'm just like, right.
Yeah. I think I can't wait for that to be on the show. What do you guys think if everything was totally anonymous, like you couldn't see names, do you think they would still lie?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
But why? Because no one's going to actually see who it is.
We're men. We're born with egos, okay?
It's not, we're human. Humans are born to tell lies when they're confronted with something that makes them look bad.
But it can't make them look bad if no one knows who they are.
Because they have to admit it to themselves. That's the worst place to look bad, is into yourself. Because typically that's only people that's what you care the most about. I mean, you got a better chance of getting a girl to admit that she's a hoe than you got to do to admit that his man.
We're not giving away yet. Okay, we got to tease the good people of Patreon first.
I mean, think about it. How many men have you met that said, "Oh, I'm 6'1", and then you meet them and be like, "Bro, you like 5'10" at best." Okay, like stop.
That's true, and you have to meet them in person. That is true. Oh my God, it'd be the worst because it's like the 5'10ers, and a lot of those guys say on dating apps, well, no one's searching for that, which is true. Most women will kind of just put the scale or whatever, but it's.
You can't get a woman to admit she's fat either. She'll tell you she's curvy, thick. She'll say she weighs, her pictures are from the collarbone up.
That gives it away. By the way, ladies, they know.
The sit down angle where looking up at it so you can't see their stomach, but you can't see her feet either, so you know how far back she's got it. Like it's rare. It's very rare for people to be honest about anything where it doesn't align with the body image or the self-image they have of themselves. Even to like therapists, they'll go in there and lie about shit. They're paying people. Like that person's being paid to listen to you and help you get better. Well, look at how many of the people that you coach. Like, that that's a lot. I know a lot of them aren't honest with you. And they don't get honest until you start hitting them with the Yonci, you know what I'm saying?
Or they're not honest with themselves.
Yeah. So,
well, look at the questions that we ask on the singles feature. Like, hey, what could you have done better? And it's like, I shouldn't have had such a big heart. It'd be like the most. Oh my goodness. Kaylee says, how can we create a safer space for honesty? I don't even think that. Okay, so I want to ask this and I don't want to forget. I'll ask later. Okay. All right, so therefore I don't forget. Okay, so do you remember? I'm gonna go. Y'all, let me know when I keep forgetting to put my captions. Oh, he says straight out of Maryland. I love that. By the way, so if you do want to let people connect with you on Instagram, you are welcome to put in your headline your. Oh, wait. You're welcome to put your Instagram. Willie always entertains us every time with his @ but you're welcome to put your @ if you do want people to be able to find you. And always, anybody who's on the show, if anyone is single, feel free to shout that out for the world so the ladies know that it is safe to move forward. Or if you want to profess your love for the person in your life, you can also do that as well. So please do not assume, ladies, if they're on my panel that they are single, because Yonsternation is open to men of all. Look, I wasn't going to put it out there. Some guys do it to detour, okay? He is taken. So he's going to give us a married perspective, but he is not on the market. So stay back if you value your life. Okay. So let's get into this. I'm going to go ahead and move this to later in the show. All right. So the very first question, I asked the fellas, which I'm laughing at because you said they're not going to be true.
No,
No, you did not put that for your caption. Y'all, I gotta hide the title so you can see. Not coming in as Android user. Y'all, this is the last man on earth with an Android, and he's coming in proud. Proud of that. Y'all gonna have me choking. That was funny because I couldn't see who you were at first because you were off camera, and I just like Android user. Welcome to the show, Android user.
I'm just saying, just gotta represent. So
good to have you. All right, we were talking about how the guys are not honest on Yonsternation. Well, the guys were saying that. All right, so the first question that we asked was, how successful are you at getting women to give you their time? So now we're going to see what they said. What percent do you think said what? So here are the options that they were given. There's pretty much any woman I pursue wants me. It's kind of 50-50 with women. And the last option is I rarely have success with women. Which do you think the overwhelming majority of men picked? Pretty much have any woman that I pursue want me, kind of 50-50, or I rarely have success.
Okay. Is there any order we're going to answer?
No, which one do you think is the number, like the most men answered? Because 59% answered one of them. So I always give you guys a chance to guess before I show the stats.
Oh, yeah, I'll probably say like 50-50.
Okay. Willie, what do you think?
I think they lied.
You think they chose that they have
Yeah, I think they said they had they get they are more successful than they are. So I'm gonna say that probably the one where it said the highest amount.
Okay. All right. And Cam, what's your vote? Is Cam frozen? Why did he look like a prison photo for 10 seconds? Okay, so I'm going to go over to you, Android user. I'm going to call you that now. AU.
probably 50. It's the 50-50 one.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and see what they said. I can get here.
Gotcha.
59% said 50-50. It's kind of getting. So only 18%.
Hey, can you guys like keep it down? Thank you.
Real dad life here. Okay, so 18% said pretty much any woman I pursue wants me. So do you guys call BS? Do you think that's not like 80% of the men are not having that much success?
80% of men are invisible to women, so that doesn't align with that fact. So
okay, all right. Y'all are calling BS. Dark Clouds, you said I like your question. What my question is that the one you're liking? Too funny. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, Ray, they're saying there's a little bit of feedback. Just when you're ready to tap in, just unmute. No, it's not even you. Hold on, let's see. Oh, it was Android user. Android user is having the feedback. Oh my goodness. Our
See?
poor
That's
guest.
what happens. King of the green bubbles. That's why.
Yes, we got it. Oh gosh. Okay, so we'll just have you until you have you're chiming in, just so we will keep it down. It was Kaylee's question. Oh God, I'm super slow. Thank you for locking. I was wondering. Okay, because Kaylee had asked how can we make a safer space for men. Now, you guys, if you just joined in and you missed the chance to drop your city and state, please go ahead and drop your city and state so we can shout you out. And if it's anyone's first time watching the show, go ahead and comment newbie so I can say hello. And if you are watching here on Instagram, please head over to YouTube so that you can watch it there. All right, so let's get into some of these answers. Oh my God. So this is really funny because who was I reading? Oh, Monte was reading this question. He was like, do you think this is real? So here's the first thing that said, I rarely have success with women. I'm socially awkward, poor, mentally frail, lack emotional regulation. I cry a lot. because I can't handle my feelings well. I blame the women that I strike out with for them not wanting me, and I feel entitled to those women's affection, attention, and respect, even though I know I haven't done anything to deserve it. I can't carry a decent conversation. I can't take my hygiene seriously, and I am aggressive and overly sexual. I was like, wow, the level of accountability. And then I read the next line. To the men this actually applies to, it's not too late. You can seek help. Trolling me. You got me. You got me. Okay, someone else said, I have around 99 other problems. Someone said, funny thing about this is that the numbers, oh no, my assistant who covered up the name covered up the second line. Something about the 80-20 rule. Okay, getting attention in time ain't one of the issues. It's pretty much like the other gentleman said, finding one who has done the inner work. I know how to approach and hold a conversation. Women love that about me. It's easy getting a woman's time for sex. Getting a woman to commit to a relationship, that's hard. I don't think I've ever heard a guy say it that way. Huh.
Can you bring that back again?
Yeah, I was like, it's easy getting a woman's time for sex. Getting a woman to commit to a relationship, now that's hard.
He must date hookers.
I agree with that.
Really?
I agree with that statement.
Women are the ones like not wanting to pull the trigger?
Yep.
Do tell. This is why we're here. Break this down.
No, okay, so tell you a quick story about me.
Okay.
So for a 5-year window, I was actively dating.
Okay.
And, you know, I had my fair share of dates and stuff like that. And I was completely honest from the jump, like, you know, telling women, hey, I'm dating to be married. And anyone here from the DMV, they could tell you, you know, one of the things about this area is that they always say that, oh, men don't commit, you know, all they want is a hookup and stuff. And I was like, no, I was serious. Like, I'm, you know, here to date to be married. And it wasn't until I met my wife, we both discussed this on the very first date. Like, she said the same thing to me. Hey, I'm dating to be married. If that's not your thing, don't go out. So I said, oh, me too. 9 years later.
Wow. Congrats, by the way, almost a decade in.
But it's very much true where it's like a lot of women, and this is just me personally, if I said, hey, I just want to hook up, you know, I'm not trying to do nothing serious, that was the easy part.
Wow.
But to commit to just actively, like, let's be in a relationship, it was like, yeah, I'm in school, I'm focused on my career, you know, basically I might be dating more than one guy, you know, I've heard about.
What was your age at that time, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 32.
Oh, so you were in your third. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. So I was watching the show for, you know, research purposes. I was watching one of the more popular dating shows, and it's an interesting concept where people can come in and you initially have your first impression, you connect with someone, and they're called, you know, coupled up, and it's basically like a quasi relationship, but then new people are added from time to time, and if someone catches your attention, you know, you can give them attention or do whatever. But to me, it's interesting because you see the psychology of people and how they think, and it's indicative of how people date in real life, but you just normally aren't able to see it. So like I say, if you and I were getting to know each other at the initial stages of what would be a relationship, but then Jacob catches my eye, you wouldn't see us going and having chit chats, but I am having this happen in the background, right? So what I find interesting is that there were quite a few women who loved the attention of other men, and they assumed that the first guy would just kind of stick around, be there while she went out and explore, like, what's the big deal? But of course, he circled back, and the same thing, she got the same energy for them, you know, very territorial and didn't like it. But I thought it was really interesting how many women were either oblivious to the male ego, and I don't mean it in a negative way, like we all have ego, it's a healthy amount if you have self-confidence, but just assuming that he would just kind of sit around. So they were taking major gambles with guys who were not losers. They were very attractive. They seemed like they had their stuff together, but it was like this assumption that he'll always be there. And I wonder if a lot of women who get a lot of attention from men fritter away or squander a great guy, an opportunity, a great guy, that they will then go back and be like, dang, I missed that opportunity. I remember that guy Ray, he seems really solid, you know, now he's married with kids. Like I wonder, because that was never my thing. I was way too much into marriage. So I never identify with that, but I'm seeing a lot in this newer generation. So guys in the comments, have you seen that? Guys on the stage, have you seen, women
So
who are just in their summer, what is it called? Hot girl summer phase?
so let me say this. I actually did run it back to a couple women. It was like one of those, call it periods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talked to a few women that I previously dated, and I was just like, we're friends today, right? So I asked them, I said, hey, why didn't we ever work out?
Mm-hmm.
And they actually said that they were actually intimidated over the fact that I was actually ready. Like they really didn't. They was like, "Oh, you were serious." So when now they see me, wife, kids, house, they're like, "Oh, yeah." They had that. Oh, damn.
What does that mean? Intimidate? I mean, I obviously know what the word means in English, but like, what does that mean?
Like I can only assume they thought that it was like a dating tactic almost. Like, oh, you just saying that. And I was like, but when they actually saw that I followed through, but with someone else, mind you, shout out to my pretty wifey.
Oh, hey.
But yes, like they were actually like,
I love that.
they was like, oh, you were real about that. And I was like, yeah, I didn't come in there with games. It's like, yeah. So seriously, that's the only thing I got from it was like, you were intimidated. You didn't really believe that a man would actually approach you with intent.
Mm.
That's just my perspective.
Yeah, I've always been blown away when I would hear, because I've heard women say stories like, "Yeah, this guy was amazing, but I just wasn't ready to settle down." I just had never known women to be like that because we tend to be more clinger, more stars in our eyes, Disney love story, and the first guy to give you attention, you're like, oh. So that's wild to me. Android user, have you ever experienced a woman who was just trying to play around and you were really trying to see if someone could be Mrs. Android?
Oh yeah, I mean it's happened. I think a lot of women just thought they had time, and they would, they had options, and they wanted to run their options, see what happens, and you live and you learn. I've had, like he said, a couple that he's run it back with. I've run into a couple and said, hey, I thought we could be. I've had a couple tell me I let a good one get away.
Mm.
And I mean, it is what it is. I don't think that's too uncommon for women to come back and say, man, this was a good guy that I let get away from me because I was doing other things, or I thought I had time, or I was focused on my career, or I just wasn't ready. I mean, and that's okay. If you're just not ready, you're just not ready.
Yeah.
But, life is a very consistent teacher. And, you don't always have the time you think you have.
Yeah.
So,
Kyle, you should join the show. I think it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people go through a phase, men and women, where they just want their ego stroked, and it's kind of like that fear of or FOMO, like you don't want to. What is that phrase? I'm having a hard time thinking about. Not the
Fear of
grass is
missing
green on the
out.
other side, but it's like fear of missing out. You want what you can't have. It's like a whole combination of that. So I feel like, let's just say somebody meets somebody early in life, there could be this mindset of like, I haven't sowed my wild oats, I haven't had people fawning all over me, I haven't gone out and done all these things. But what's interesting is it's usually not all that it's chalked up to be. Like the more people that you date, it's really usually ends up being more heartache that you go through. If you're intimate, now you're more run through, from a woman's perspective, that's how guys look at it. And it's, I think people will risk things unnecessarily. And even when it comes to relationships, you might have a really great person who you're really into, but it's that curiosity kills the cat type of a thing. You just want the ego stroke of knowing this person, I'm still wanted. Like I still get attention. I'm still interested. I've actually heard of guys going out who are not planning on cheating on their wives or their girlfriends, but they just want to know that they have it. So they'll get numbers. One guy said that he would play a game with his guys and they'd see how many numbers they could get. They threw them away at the end of the night. but they just wanted to know they got it. And to me, that is an attention-seeking tactic that shows to me that you're not secure in yourself. Because I don't need to have people fawning all over me to know that I still got it, if I were to go back out there. But I think it's just ego. People want to feel, I don't know.
That just sounds hella immature right there. Sure.
Very much so, yeah.
Because I could tell you, did I do that as a teenager? Sure. But I'm gonna tell you now, I'm 41. Friend of mine, like on another social media group, put up a tag like, "Hey, what are things that you shouldn't be doing after 35?" My response was, "Still buying bottle service in a club." Like, to me,
thank you for saying that.
Like, there's just some things where I'm like, I'll look at a club and I'll see, as a grown man, they're in a club, but I'm like, if you're not there for business, take your ass home. Like,
and you're paying these people's rent, like you paying 4 times, 5 times the bottle. I don't know. I'm super biased, so sorry to anybody who does bottle service, but to me, it's just like it's an attention thing. Like, I need to get attention. I need to be seen, and I'm going to pay an absorbent amount of money so that people can see. But then it makes you look more, not insecure, but just like you just need your ego stroked. I don't know. I was never drawn to the guy who needed all the attention in the club and was trying to flex. I was always drawn to the guy who was a little bit mysterious, who was just kind of, keep it to himself, what have you. But I really wasn't into clubbing guys anyway. I wasn't even into clubbers.
No, I would never understand why some men go out and get like $80 haircuts, wearing $10,000 worth of jewelry, buying $5,000 worth of bottles in a club just to impress some girl with $10 leggings on. I'm like, stop it. Okay.
Not with $10 leggings.
I'm like, stop it. I'm like, you're killing me, Smalls. I'm like, stop it.
Oh my gosh.
I be feeling like that about like girls. Like my niece, for example, like, right, so my niece is pretty, she's cute or whatever, and I go to her sweet 16 party, she get done up, girls go out, they want to get their makeup done, she doing all this, she's stressing and all that type of stuff. So I get there and she want me to meet her boyfriend. He just got on a hoodie and some shorts. Like, I feel like a lot of girls, like, you ever seen like a lot of girls get dressed to go to the club for like niggas and dickie sets? Like,
right.
like, what are you doing? You doing all that for? Like, so whatever.
Well, I had a guy, I remember, I liked him so much, and but we were forbidden to date because he was a little bit older than me, but he already had a kid, and I was like still a virgin and hadn't been married and all this stuff. So my parents were just like, "Oh, no." But anyway, I remember that one time that we did hang out, and this man showed up with a cutoff T-shirt, and I was so offended. I was just like, "Really? You went in your closet? You said yes, this right here." I think he might even have basketball shorts. No, I think he had jeans on, but he had, and that was like his go-to. He loved this one red cutoff sleeve shirt, but I was like, "It's so offensive. You didn't even take time." Okay, so let's get to question. She said good parents. Question number 2. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the show, please smash that like button. Who is going to be our resident snitch for the night? Where are we when it comes to likes? We got to get these likes up. Right now, we're at 22.
22 and 13.
How much?
22 and 13.
Okay, we're not as bad as we normally start out. So good job, y'all. Y'all getting trained. Thank you for the 13 likes. Those of you who haven't tapped that button yet, please do so. This lets YouTube know that you are actually enjoying the show, and it will push the show out to more people. You guys have a quick moment. If you want to follow the people who have their Instagram, you can go ahead and do so now. You can also clown and throw things at the Android user if that's what makes you happy. But we're gonna move on to question number 2. Question number 2: are most of your male friends married? I was really curious about this because there are a lot of single guys who are in their 40s and things like that. So I was curious to know if the people watching or people in Yonsternation, the majority have married friends. And so I'm going to put up their responses, but you guys can share your answers. Are the majority of your male friends married?
No.
Oh, I remember your answer from the post.
Yep.
Yeah,
For
me.
me, it's
Yours is
50,
yours, right?
mine 50-50. Half of them are, half of them aren't. And or I'll say this, in the half that aren't, maybe half of them were married once before and they divorced. So
Okay. I
yeah.
was going to ask that.
So,
Willie? Oh, no, go ahead.
oh, I was like, so interesting enough, one of my, single female friends, right? She once asked me, hey, where your single friends at? And before I fully answered her, same way, I'm like 50-50 too, right? It's like, all right, all the good guys I know, yeah, they're married. But the guys that I won't even so much as introduce to my mother, they're single. And I'm like, so when she asked me that, it really made me start reevaluating my circle. Like,
Oh.
I was like, damn, like who the hell am I hanging out with? It's like, so yeah, I was like, yeah, it made me wonder.
Ladies in the comments, do you judge the men by their circle of friends? So I know a lot of guys will be super duper loyal because they've been boys since childhood or high school or college or whatever. But when you take a look around and you see, let's just say a guy is notorious for being a womanizer, or he is not faithful, or can't keep a job, or whatever would be a red flag. If that was the majority of his friends, would that be a red flag for you? Is it birds of a feather flocking together, or does he get a pass if he's known them for a while? I am not gonna lie, I do take a look and I'll be like, and it's the same with my friends. Like if I have someone in my life who's a friend and they start cheating or whatever, like I'm distancing because I'm like, I don't want any of that blowback on me, and I don't want it to be a reflection of my character, and I'm uncomfortable around it.
I
Have you
think that
seen
makes sense. I think it is useful to kind of for most people to look at people's friend group, especially women. But even with men, I think it's useful to kind of look at people's friends group. Even I don't my friends are not married, and I think a lot of my friends are like, honestly, when it comes to my friends, I'm more of the I'm the most successful one.
Mhm.
So like they kind of look to me to kind of like, they whatever I'm doing is kind of like, so when I don't really fool around with a lot of women and all that type of stuff, I notice like since I've been on the time that I'm on, a lot of my friends they don't put that type of stuff in the group chat no more. It's no longer like something that we talk about,
Nice.
and all them type of things. So I think I kind of lead the energy. But if your man isn't, if he doesn't necessarily lead the energy, then he might, kind of the group might necessarily rub off on him a little bit more.
Because I've seen, the guys who are all encouraging a relationship and, speaking words of wisdom. And then I've seen the friend groups that are always ragging on him. Like, oh man, you gonna hang with your lady again. Da, da, da. They're always trying to, I don't know what it is. It's like crabs in a barrel to me. They're single. So they're trying to downplay it. And it's like, man, if you were in a relationship and you're happy, you want to be at home sitting up under her too. Like, don't be a hater. Oh, GMT in the building. Good to have you. Thank you so much for the $5. I ain't gotta ask this time. I know it's an extension on the clock. It ain't no love offering. But thank you so much. And he said, "Oh, my brother Will." Okay. Let's see.
John, see, I used to shoot weddings, and when I was at a wedding one time, and this was with like a bunch of people from an area that I grew up in. I seen somebody I went to high school with, and I kind of, we would see each other in passing and hang out every once in a while. Um, I was shooting a wedding, and he was like, "Yo, you see all these women in here?" This is probably like 2-3 years ago. He like, "You see all these women in here? Like, you better go, get you something." I'm like, "No, I got a girl." He looked at me like he saw a ghost. Like, he looked at me crazy. Like, "Yo, what are you
Wow.
talking about? Like, stop playing." Like, yeah, it get like that. Like,
That's
some guys is like that.
Yeah, I've been around some. Your face is saying so much, Willie. I've been around. I've been around guy friends who just made me just want to go shower, and I'm just like, oh, ugh. I don't know. It's tough. Definitely tough. Weddings are the best speed dating events. He said, sorry, not sorry. Speaking of events, I'm very excited that 2 of the 3 guys on the panel will be there. They're going to be at my Patreon event. Very excited to meet your lady, by the way. And we are going to have a good time. I just recently announced that we have a celebrity chef in the house who is going to be there. He is from the Food Network's Chopped. And so I am very, very excited. I think this would be a great time to finally let the cat out of the bag. The Patreon event is November, the weekend of November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And as of the last time I checked, there was literally 1 single spot left. I thought we had filled all the spots today, and I made the announcement until I realized someone registered twice because they were just very excited to come. So we actually do have that very last spot open. Anyone who's a patron is welcome to come. It is free of charge, and the reason it is because I have a very generous sponsor. Yes, GMT is going to be there too. Will the sponsor please reveal yourself?
What?
Willie is sponsoring this event, y'all. I let him get away with being honest for a while, but I'm not. I'm letting the cat out of the bag. Y'all, he has been incredibly generous. Cats don't like being in bags, let it out. So you guys have him to thank for an all expense paid weekend. Dinner is taken care of. The reception on Friday is taken care of, and brunch on Sunday is taken care of. Y'all gotta get your own hotel though. But thank you so much, Willie. That is very, very kind of you. He does put his money where his mouth is, and he's always been supportive of my platform. And he is compassionate about you guys. We actually have Kaylee. She is one of the winners, along with another woman. She won a trip, all expense paid, got flued out and put up in a hotel. So you guys stick around. Very cool things happen. And I've had so many very generous men on my platform. Also, Mon is always sponsoring YouTube segments and things like that. So he helps keep it going. And like StreamYard is extremely expensive. I told Willie they literally doubled the price. I said the devil is a liar. And so those contributions really helped me to be able to continue to have this. And you guys, we don't have to go back to that ghetto Zoom platform. We all remember. Okay, moment of silence for that Zoom. That was a mess. All right, so let's move on. Oh, I didn't get the poll answer. Okay, so are most of your friends married? And the guys said 65% said yes. So that's pretty cool. So their circle is married. The others don't. And remember we talked last week, I think it was, where I was saying it doesn't seem like men are very proactive about getting in relationships. So I don't know. I think sometimes the guys who are single maybe want to stay single, but that's just my thought.
I think we need to be really clear and specify that talking about when we say men aren't talking about marriages, they're shooting relationships, that they're not actively seeking marriage. Because if you ask the question specifically, women will run with it, and women-minded men will run with it and automatically assume that you're talking about marriage. But a man and a woman who are exclusively dating or exclusively having sex is a relationship. And there are a lot of men who are pursuing those sorts of relationships. So when people say like men aren't trying to have relationships or whatever, they're assuming you're talking about marriage. And I mean, again, you be honest, there's certain men that marriage is for, and there's certain men that marriage doesn't benefit. And the men who aren't benefit or who don't benefit in the way that the regular people, the average guy benefits from marriage, they don't seek it out because they probably are, successful or have they have something to lose. And when people are of that mindset and also of that background, they tend to not enter into business deals where the other side is incentivized to leave them or to screw them over. So,
but do you think that they want relationships, period? Do you think the majority of men want relationships, period?
Yeah, I don't think that any man with sense is not going to want a relationship. Having a dope woman is amazing. The issue is like if you could get married without the government being involved, it would make sense. It's about the Bible and what the covenant of marriage is. But once you put the government in the middle of marriage, it's a lose-lose for the few men that women actually want to marry. Not the ones they settle for and marry because they can't get the ones they want. But if you put the men that women actually strive for, their ideal man, the 6-figure a month, the high net worth individuals, that are attractive, that have, the attention of all the other women that also want him. If they could get one of those men to marry them, and that man would marry her if he could do it, and she checked his boxes, and there wasn't a risk of loss, everything that comes with the divorce. So I think it's really disingenuous for a group to let it slide and say as if, I think this is what it is. But, the only guys that tend to, or women that tend to try to push back the most are the ones that get married because they need to be. Like it's a survival thing for them.
So I've seen in my single girl friend groups that there are quite a few guys who are not taking even relationships seriously. So without going into too much detail before people realize who I'm talking about them, you had one who was just juggling a bunch of women. I was privy to that. So of course I wouldn't want my girlfriend dealing with that, knowing that he wasn't really dealing with any one person seriously. You had another one where he just kept, I wouldn't say cheating fully, but he was acting single. He was completely acting single, but then telling her all this sweet nothings in her ear. And meanwhile, he's just doing whatever, like acting stupid, being reckless, doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing. And so I've seen quite a few, and this is not even marriage. We're just talking about a relationship. And one of the guys said his uncle told him, "Man, you're still young." He's in his late 30s. Like, you're still young. You should still be having fun. And so I'm wondering if, like, their pops or their uncles or their whatever, these people are trying to live vicariously through them, not realizing you could be settling down, building something with somebody and having a great life, whether you choose to have the government sign off on your relationship or you're just in a committed relationship. I really think that there are some bitter people who have had bad experiences and they're in these people's ears, or they're hyping it and making it seem like it's a good time. Like, you can have fun to an extent, yeah, going out and meeting people, but at the end of the day, you want to spend holidays alone, you want to eat every single dinner out. Like, at some point you want someone up under you and you're up under them. That's my opinion. And I just don't see that seeming to be the focus of a lot of guys. So that's my opinion based on that. Yes, jump on in.
So let me just tell you from my perspective and just honestly my opinion. With me, I have teenage daughters, right? And when any one of them want to tell me, that they got a boyfriend, the first thing I ask them is, "What's a boyfriend? What's a relationship?" Because that's something that I think even with some grown men, they couldn't answer that question. Or more so when they think of marriage, they immediately assume, "Oh, I got to be of this salary. Oh, I gotta have this type of car, not a car, but this type of car. I gotta have this house." And I'm like, whoever gave you this prerequisite that you got to have all of these things from jump, it was like, that's like saying, "Hey, to start an entry level job, do you have a master's degree?" No.
Have you not talked to any modern women? That's exactly what they expect a man to have just to go on a date with them.
See, I respectfully disagree because, I could just tell you, I'm just going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for all mankind, but I can tell you from my perspective, and this is my second marriage. My first marriage was when I was 24. Okay. Now I'm on my second marriage right now. You think I came in with any of that from jump? My current marriage right now, I had a temp job. I didn't even own a car. I was using my sister's car. Yeah, seriously. I was like, my wife owned a house. I moved into her house and I took over her mortgage because her mortgage was actually cheaper than my rent. But all I'm saying is, it's like, you're marrying a person, not their status, not their income, not any of that. That's where you have a relationship to build from. Because if you came in with all of that, your first thought is going to be, "Oh, she needs to match me. She needs to be like me. She needs to do this." And it's like, no. That's why you have a marriage. You build upon those stages. You make the goal to get to a certain stage to be somewhere. So once you have it, you can honestly say, "Look at what we accomplished." Because if you didn't do that, then eventually you're going to grow to resent that person that did not like you.
I think that there is a percentage of the population that is willing to grow with someone. I can speak from personal experience. I'm not going to say the person could be living in a homeless shelter and have no ambition, but if he had something that gave me hope, I have and did give guys a chance. A lot of times it was their own mentality, though, that eliminated them from the game. But I can also see Willie's point that there are some women who won't talk to you if you don't have a certain type of car, a certain type of house. But I think it's a matter of finding that person that you are compatible with. But I agree with you. I think that a lot of guys have talked themselves out of situations because they think that every woman has these unrealistic goals or desires. And I do like the idea. I'm in a different space now. I'm 40. What is the year? 44. I'm in a different space. When I was married, I said this is my second marriage. Like we're married already. This will be my second. But in my first situation, I wanted to be the trophy wife and have everything taken care of and come into his situation. But I realized how that affects the power dynamics. I realized how that affected my self-esteem and things like that. So I've evolved as a person, and I tend to lean towards wanting to evolve with a person, and feel like I have kind of like equal voting power type of a thing, because there typically is like a power lack of power balance when there's a major lack of money imbalance. So I'm leaning towards the non-modern woman in that scenario. But your face is so loud, Willie. Your face is so loud.
It's just disingenuous to not point out that the women you have on this panel have those same expectations. The women in the comments have those same expectations and express them on your polls and on your posts. The women who's like, again, if you told any of your average followers that a woman let a man move into her house, she would look down on that man. If you told most of the men in your panel that a guy moved into a woman's house, we would tell him not to. We would tell him that's a terrible idea. So, like, we're not. I don't want it to be. I don't want to let it slide where that's normal, because it's not. It's never going to be normal for women to be in the male position in a relationship, even just because it works in one instance. If you put any of these women or these men in that same position, they're not going to do it. And so, just this anecdotal experience that you said Ray has is awesome. I'm happy that it worked for him, but we're not talking about this one time. The exception does not negate the rule. And the standard that women have is they want men who have it together, especially between, I'd say, over 30. And if you don't have it together, the type of women, and I'm not, again, the type of women that men generally find attractive or seeking aren't going to tolerate that.
Let's ask the ladies in the comments. Would you help a guy? Would you be willing to help him?
They're not going to be honest. Again, because it's going to be a point of conversation.
That they wouldn't want it. So
I would tell you when they would do it. If it was me saying it, then they'd have no problem, because they would love to find a time for me to be wrong. But they're going to support anytime someone comes up and has an opinion that aligns more so with women than it does with the men that those women want. They're never going to counter him, because it's a hive mind. So the crazy part about it is, I know 2 women in these comments right now that on your post, and again, I'm the king of receipts, that they have said things that are going to take you to, that will help me prove my point in previous posts. Like, when you ask women, would you rather move into a guy's house or have him move into yours? I think that poll was like 94% to 6. So if anybody,
but they're agreeing with you in the comments, Willie.
Right. But then when you ask them to do it, like I'm saying, if you ask them to do it without me reminding them that, like, not embarrass them, but prove they're lying, that's why they agree now. Because again, even if you ask 1,000 women, if you ask 1,000 average men, and we're just going to say the men who are the regular 9 to 5s, working a flat 40, paying their bills, and just barely making it, right? If you ask 1,000 of those men, the majority of them are not going to be okay doing that. Now, ask 1,000 of the top 10% of men that the women actually acknowledge, or the 20% that are even visible to men. If you ask that 20%, none of us are going to move into a woman's house. We know that's a bad idea. We know it's like you can't move in somewhere if you're like, we know that's not what men do. Like we know that because of what women tell us, what our predecessors have told us, and more importantly, shown us. My father would have never in his life moved into my stepmother's house. Mont, you would never move into your girl's house. Cam,
Never.
Android user, and he's an Android user. He would never move into his woman's house. So, like, it's cool, you know what I'm saying, because, it works anecdotally for one person. That's cool. Congratulations, champ. But that's not what it is for the average man. And then we're talking about, well, you got to judge your friend based on his friend group. If that's the case, then, ladies, if one of your friends is a host, so are you. Because birds of a feather flock together, right? If that's what we're going to say. Because now if I'm going to be judged, as the pastor said, you can tell a lot about a man based on who he calls his friends. So if one of my friends is a hoe and a womanizer, and they beat women, and I call them my friend, clearly that says something about me. So if one of your homegirls sells vagina and is an escort, that says a lot about you too, under that same retarded, on the spectrum logic. So it's like we stop making it where it's like men and women are equal in the things that we think or feel. Just because there's someone playing on the other side who agrees with it. It's the same thing that Derrick Jackson did, and I hate it. Like, I promise you, I did not pick my title tonight, my headline, knowing this was going to be the case, but damn it if it ain't serendipitous. Like, we're talking about things like one of the things that I really hate, and I'll say it this way, one of the things that I really hate is when, like, single people talk about marriages, like when women have all these opinions about being married and what it should be and what they're not going to do, and they've never done it before, or when men who are currently married talk about situations that they are not in, because I feel that's feminine. Because men don't talk about things from a point of conjecture or speculation. We tend to try to pull our opinions from a place of logic and reason. And if you've never done it before, all you're doing is giving your emotional opinion based off of what you think may happen. And anytime that we do that should happen. I hate it. Like, it's not a trigger, but it's just annoying. It's almost like talking to Paul, but
Okay, no, you did not. But I think there's a difference between the extremes. Like what I think Ray mentioned is not a woman being the provider. It just was her willing to give him grace. He's not where he wants to be. I think what you described is like a bum who's like living under a bridge somewhere who can't feed himself.
I'm sorry. What did Ray say again? I don't remember what Ray said. What was the point that he was making?
That men are harder on themselves than necessary. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, I was okay. Thank you for asking me that. Yeah, the point that I was trying to make was that, like, men have this opinion or this thought process that they got to come to the table, with like the huge 6-figure salary, with this high end car, not just like any vehicle. Like, they got to fit this box. And the point that I'm trying to make is, you never even met the woman yet. You don't know what fits her box. She may be the type of woman that's like, I don't need you to be the 6-figure earner. I don't need you to be that, Mercedes driver. I don't need you to be X, Y, or Z. Like, get to know that person and then say, hey, I'm not here I'm not where I'm at where I want to be, but I'm showing you a path on how I'm gonna get there. And if you can, give them a time frame. Be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. But when I hear that often about like why some men just are not on board with marriage or anything like that, is because they think that they got to come with all these things to the table, and it's like, absolutely not. Like, you just need to be you. You need to be respectful. You need to have like a mindset of like, hey, this is where I'm headed to. This is who I'm trying to become. Not with all of that.
I want to ask this too. Were you on the episode that Monte joined, and he was talking about how he would intentionally pick women up with the raggedy car? Were you on that episode?
No, I wasn't on that episode.
Okay, because I'm like, this flies right in the face of that. the argument saying that, oh, women won't give a man the time of day. But he was saying, I intentionally did that to vet and make sure she wasn't a gold digger.
Mhm.
And so, but what Willie is saying is like, no, they wouldn't give the time of day. Like, that's
I
interesting.
think we're talking about different types because there's so many. There are different types of women. I think there are some down to earth women who just like if y'all like each other, if y'all hit it off, she meets you in the coffee shop, like she not gonna be,
Mhm.
So it really depends on the type of woman that you after and the type of woman that you're trying to get that you're trying to be with. But if you like those type of women, then yeah, come with something. Because there are certain women who are like, this is what I have, this is my standard, this is what my dad would want me to date, and I'm gonna stick to that standard. But there are other women who are like, yo, if I like you, then we can build together. So I think it's there are different women, especially the younger you are, the more that they're willing to give you a lot of grace, the younger you are. And it also depends on how attractive you are too. Like other things come into that play, like how much does she want you versus you want her. That
That's
comes
a
in there.
fact. The
Yeah.
pastor said that she'll pay your rent for a couple of months if you're really fine.
Yeah, that'll buy you a nice amount of time. So it depends. But I think a lot of women, if you just ask them their opinion, but also like asking women their opinion is kind of like sometimes it's like, why would you do that anyway? Because a lot of them a lot of them don't know what they want. It's like asking them,
It's
what's
true.
your what type of men do you date? We ask any of these girls what type of men they going to date. They're gonna be like, he gotta be above 6 foot, he gotta be this. He'd be like, what? How tall was the last guy you dated? Oh, he
Right.
was 5'10". I thought he had to be above 6 foot. I thought he had to be this. He got how much money? How much money the last guy you dated had? So
I will say
um,
this, if I can. I think that even with people like me who are going to give grace and not need the person to have it figured out altogether, they do, like I think Ray mentioned this, have to have a plan in place, and we have to see that you're actively making strides.
mhm.
Because nobody wants to feel resentment, which is what's going to happen if she feels like he's just skating, he's coasting, he's riding him coattail. No one wants to feel that. But it's like if I was down bad, or I went through a really bad divorce, and she took everything I have, and I'm starting over, or whatever the case may be, or I had an injury. Like most women will give. I should say most. Some women will give grace, but that grace will run out at a certain point where it's like, all right, lady, you've had enough time to get yourself
Mhm.
together.
And I think
I
they
got
really gotta like you for the for the grace. Like I think when women like say they standards, the standards are really for like other guys. It's not really for the guy that they actually like. For in most cases, like my girl don't date guys with kids. She'll tell you that I'm not dating a guy with kids. I got 3 of them, right? So yeah.
The, the
And
more the more desirable a woman is, the least likely she is to give grace. Same thing with a man. The more in demand a man is, the more women, the more status, the more all that stuff he has, the less likely, the least likely he is to give grace to things that don't fit his frame. If a man can have any woman he wants, then he's going to get a woman he can afford and should exercise the ability to actually command those women to be in his frame. A woman who can attract those men readily, without an issue, also she's not going to settle for a man. She's not going to flex unless it's a guy like mine that has everything together, protect, provide, whatever. So she'll make the concession. Okay, now she'll a bonus mom now. Before him, for a regular dude, she would have never done that for. And it's the same thing with men. It goes both ways. So we got to be realistic about making a blatant statement or expectation for women to give grace. When women giving grace is settling. Men giving grace is settling. You're settling for something that's not ideal. And I think when you look at it that way and just be unbiased about it, regardless if it applies to you or not, I think that we'll probably be able to move this conversation forward more as a I guess a collective people.
I do have something important. Lynette just celebrated a very
Big
monumental
50,
birthday. What'd you say?
big 50.
Look, when you don't look 50, you can shout it from the rooftop. So
I thought she was
happy
lying.
birthday to you.
I thought she was lying. I'm like, ain't nothing about Lynette 50.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday.
girly. We gotta do
You
a
got
shout
50
out.
pair of big ass earrings.
I cannot with
They
you.
had 50 people at her birthday party. Like Lynette popular.
Hmm.
Like Lynette
Lynette's
showed her party. You
awesome.
could tell people love some Lynette. That's how I know her macaroni and cheese good.
You know what?
Like,
Good day, sir.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Look.
I'm a tough critic with mac and cheese.
Oh, are we talking about actual food?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, that's how
Oh, my bad. Are we not talking about mac and cheese? Okay.
I didn't know which
You
way
got
it was
it.
going. That's why I was like, I'm gonna err on the side of caution.
I thought y'all was talking about food. Oh, my bad.
Poor mac and cheese. It got violent. I had some amazing mac and cheese last night actually, and I'm very finicky about mine. And I don't like it right. I don't like it anywhere near Kraft. Like I don't want it to be runny, saucy, all that stuff. I want it to be like you put your fork in your piece, and you can pull it out like
Okay, for sure. You're talking about food, right?
yes, yes.
Just
And
check.
I'm like, I like that corner piece. I like the little burnt. Like I wouldn't mind if there was like a creme brulee flame thing and like crisp that top up. And this place really did a good job.
Oh, so you don't want your mac and cheese creamy? That's what you said. Still talking about food.
It could be slightly, but it needs to be totally stuck together. So,
Yeah, Janessa, I don't agree that people shouldn't settle. I think that for one, it depends on you gotta relationships are a gamble to some degree. Now you can choose not to settle at all. You can wait for the perfect person, but that's risk. That's a risk, which is it's up to you. But I think personally that people should have a set of non-negotiables, and then they should have a set of things that they're willing to let go. Things that aren't as big of a deal. But I do think people shouldn't break those non-negotiables at all. You should know what will make your life miserable, and you should know what you just can't live with. And then you should have a set of things that are just not that big of a deal to you that you can give up. But as long as you don't break those, then I think that's fine. Because you can't get everything you want in a person. Well, I don't know. You probably can, but
no, and even if you met someone who had everything you were looking for, you're not guaranteed that you're everything they're looking for. So they might not want you. That's why I feel like, when I watch these shows,
I think that happened for a lot of girls. That happened for a lot of women.
You find
that
person
women got that story.
It's my person, and they're like, you're not my person.
Oh yeah, that 80-20 rule is very real. Very real.
And if you know yourself, and I was saying shameless plug for my course, one of the first things we do week 1 is we go over exactly that. There are 4 categories, and 2 of them are deal breakers and preferences. And I always say the deal breaker, the things that I don't care what happens, you're walking away if this box gets checked. And then a preference is, man, this would be really nice, but I'm not letting someone go because of it. So if you have somebody who checks all your preferences, a lot of them, that's a really good sign. It's important to know that, but it's really, it shouldn't be something you let go of. But yeah, I think that there's this idea that there's this perfect person going around. And I think the older you get, the more you realize how rare it is to wake up to someone and enjoy them every single day. And I feel like if you start there, that's going to eliminate a lot of people. And then it's like, as long as you're big things, you don't have really big things that you're far apart on, I say grab that person. And then when you're in that situation, you might have times where you're focusing on that 20%. Oh my God, this 20% drives me crazy, but you can't live that way because you're going to drive yourself and your partner crazy. You have to go, but look at all this other stuff. And for me, if I have an attitude of, I'm going to focus on the 20 versus the 80, as opposed to going, I'm going to focus on how I feel being in a relationship versus being single, it switches up real quick. Because it's easy to focus on what you don't have. Oh, I just wish this person was stronger in this area or whatever. But then you think about how lonely you were as a single person or how cold your bed is or whatever. And you'd be like, I'm going to deal with that 20.
Yeah. And I think this scenario is different for men and women. I don't know. I feel like most men, not even most men are certain types of men. Like what you want is very simple. So probably a lot of women check those boxes. Like versus the woman who kind of have a lot, typically have like, they want like a guy who look like a dope boy. He's tall, but he's not a dope boy. He's articulate. He's
heart of gold.
Yeah, he got a heart of gold, but he can fight real good. And he and he's like a romantic. He's romantic, and he all those type of things. Well, I think a lot of men are just like, I want her to be pretty, I want her to be soft, and I want to like know how to take care of home, and I'm
Not give
good.
me a
Like
headache.
loyal. Yeah, just be loyal and be soft and be pretty. Like
The needing
very
to
important.
settle, not the more realistic you are, or the more informed you are about your value to the men or the women that you want, I think will keep you from is when you don't have to settle. Because if you're a 5 and you think you're a 10, then you need to one be realistic with yourself, and then settle for 5s who are also because that's who you're horizontal. Like what women tend to want to date up, and men have to date down. And if you just because like a lot of women think because they sleep with 8, 9s, and 10s, and they have those types of men pursuing them sexually, that those are also the same options they have for a relationship. So now they're thinking, well, I don't need to settle for a guy who is average like me because I must be an 8, 9, or 10 because 8, 9, or 10 men want to sleep with me.
Hmm. I think like a lot of women who say stuff like that, like, oh, like this is my standard, and these are the guys that I've been with. A lot of times you ask them like, why aren't you with those guys right now? And it's different for men and women because men control the access to like marriage and relationships and stuff like that. So when you're asking a man like, oh, you met the perfect girl, why aren't you with her? And you like, I messed it up. She was everything I wanted, or she wanted to be with me, but I wasn't ready. Versus a woman who's kind of like, really in reality, those guys didn't really want you in that capacity. A lot of not a a lot of those women, not everyone, but a lot of those guys didn't want them in that capacity. They just kind of wanted to experience them, and they did. So
Okay. All right. Let's look at the numbers. What are the numbers looking like right now? How many likes? We got 21 people watching at this moment. If you are enjoying the show, please go ahead and tap that like button. Share with a friend if you have someone who has some downtime on Thursdays. Or you're like my buddy Heidi. Shout out to you when you're watching Heidi. She watches everything while she is at work on her work day. She puts it up on the TV. And she has been catching up and binging. So when she watches it, she'll be like, oh my God, it's me. Yeah, girl, it's you. Where are we at numbers wise, guys?
Damn, I got the game. Give me a second.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can do it too.
It says 23 and 13, but that's probably high. 23 and 19, so we're doing good.
Okay, 19. Okay, good. So we got a couple more since the last time. Awesome. All right, so let's get into the next question. How are you doing over there, Ray? First time on the panel. How you holding up, sir?
Oh, I'm having fun. Like,
I'm good.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I gotta do this again.
We ain't for everybody. So look, some people we get scared off. So I'm glad. Okay. All right. So the next one, this was, I should have gone and screenshotted the image, but it's very simple. So it was a screenshot of a DM. The guy slid in her DM and he said, hey. She responded with balloon, pin, pop emoji. No words. And he said, I. So my question was the way she rejected him savage? What are your thoughts before I put the guy's answers up?
I think she did the guy a favor. Seriously, like that. If that happened to me, I would have been like, bet. I didn't waste my time. You didn't lose nothing. No time, no money, no effort. You did me a favor. Cool. Okay. Like, I get it. Bro, man shot a shot. She popped the balloon. 2 fingers. Keep it going.
Okay.
I think it was OD. I think it was OD, and like I'm a mild mannered type of guy, but I am ultimately from the ghetto, so like I can get a little snippy too sometimes. Like if you like you trying to play me, like you a class clown, like you think that's funny, like what are we
Right.
doing, like popping a balloon, like I don't know. So I would feel disrespected. And I
I
probably
need
would
to
have.
know.
Yeah.
I need to know what she looks like.
Oh, questions that he answered.
I
I
mean,
felt like it was unnecessary.
it's important.
I felt like it was unnecessarily petty. But this was my thing, and someone pointed out that I didn't notice it at first because I was just so distracted by her over the topness. I feel like, hey, to a stranger in a DM is not a proper way to step to somebody. So if it were me, exactly, Pastor David just said at the same time, If it were me, I probably wouldn't have even opened it or just left it unread. I don't even know if I would have dignified, hey. For the guys that don't know, which I refuse to believe that men don't know this, but I believe that if you're actually interested in a woman and you're hitting her on social media, especially if you don't have a great page, I would come in and say, hi, I came across your page or I saw your post on such and such. I think you're beautiful. I would like to get to know you. Or if you want to take it to the next level, drop a video. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I don't post a lot of personal pictures, but just, I'm not, fake. This is what I look like. Da, 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 da. I think that we have to come correct, because that would just be weird if you were in the grocery store and someone passes you and they're like, hey, and that's it. It's just weird.
Yeah, I need to know what she looks like before, because I mean, I'm not. Some women, they get hit on by so many men. The fact that she responded, she took time out of her day. But there's a response that she gave him, and then like the gist and the weight of that response. It's trendy because of the balloon pop shows, but does it match her face and like her current circumstances? Because you can't be unattractive and living in a studio apartment, and then a guy balloon pop you send him a balloon pop, man. You don't even have enough space in your place to pop a balloon.
You know what?
You see what I'm saying? Like, it just like your attitude needs to match like your altitude is what I was told like when I was young. And a lot of times the women with these attitudes, they are never in the spaces to, or at the altitude to have them.
Okay, let me ask you something, sir. Let me ask you. Give me a name of a attractive celebrity.
Megan Good.
Mackenzie Bezos.
Okay. If they responded to you the same way, would you still be offended?
No.
Because of who they are.
No, that's not why I wouldn't be offended. If a woman responds to me that way, I'm just not offended. It's impossible for a woman to offend me.
Okay.
Nothing about an external opinion moves me. So if a woman just hit me with the balloon pop, cool, she hit me with a balloon pop. I would look at where she was. I'm not going to respond and be like, you funny looking, whatever. I would think it, but I wouldn't say it. So, but no, I'm not moved by that. Like the approval of women. Like that's why I didn't give my opinion when you guys talk about how hard is it to get women, because it's not. So the only thing harder to get than women, and easier to get than women, is water. So I don't look at these types of things that way. I do call out though when women are trying to be unnecessarily be funny at the expense of a man, just for like clicks and views or for attention or clout within their social circle, which is why I said what I said about how does she look, because I can't tell you how she feels, because for example, mine said Megan Good. If Megan Good did it, it's Megan Good. Megan Good is a highly sought after and attractive woman. So if she did it, I'm laughing like, well, shoot or shoot. Maybe my shot hit the balloon pop for itself, whatever. But now if it was Lizzo, are you shitting me? I'm not tolerating that.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Okay.
I get it. So it's all looks, but I'm like, all I'm gonna say is Lizzo got money though. So
it don't matter.
What are you saying? Like, so that's again, right? So the great equalizer, a woman's money doesn't mean anything to a man.
Yeah.
Ever, unless that man doesn't have money. Like that's why I said earlier, a lot of men date for help. They need roommates, and in-house vagina, so they get married because they feel like it locks them down. But the fact that like Lizzo's money was even mentioned is like insane to me, because no man gets with a woman and is like, well, excuse me.
I'm gonna say, yeah. I was like, think about it.
No man, but the men that women want don't get with women and worry about their money. Their money is their money at the end of the day. Like they protect and provide. They're not getting with women being like, hey, pay half these bills, pay 40% of these bills. We don't care about how much money you make. And to be clear, though, if you make too much money, it makes you less desirable to us. So Lizzo, under that logic, what you said, Lizzo being shaped like a chicken nugget and being rich is a double negative.
This panel does not reflect the opinions of the Chasing Yonci.
No, but reality does. This chicken nugget's got three shapes. It's the one that looks like the scroll emoji. It's the one that looks like a teardrop, and it's just the one that looks like they just mashed it together. You know which one she's shaped like. It's the one Grimace is built like. So I'm not. It's not mean to say that. Because if you go, I will buy whoever wants to go check it out. Pick somebody in the comments. I will DoorDash them McDonald's right now, and I guarantee you they can send me a picture of which chicken nugget I'm talking about. Whose kids are hungry?
Pastor David said, if Megan Good balloon pop me, I'd screenshot it and save it forever and put it on my.
No, I think the context absolutely matters. Like, what do you look like? Like, what? Like, okay, who are you that you think that you are? You know. So your market value matters absolutely. Like if it was like if it's a poor, ugly guy trying to like play you, you like what? So it's
Why are
like,
you playing in my face like that? That's what y'all say, right? Like playing in my face. Imagine if I was ugly, struggling with 15 kids, couldn't speak, didn't bathe, was just all over undesirable, but I had these
I
opinions.
didn't bathe.
Y'all would look at me like I was nuttier than squirrel shit. Like you wouldn't let that slide. There would be no like, well, maybe just there's someone for everybody. No, there's not. It's mathematically improbable for there to be someone for everyone. So a lot of people are going to die alone or have to start sharing. Because so look at mine, right? Patrice O'Neal is probably one of the greatest comedians on earth. Probably the best to ever do it. He pointed out something that I think we should realize. He said, so we just use Mont as the example, right? Mont's, saying, a top 1% guy. So when women look at Mont, they have to realize that, Mont has so much draw because he's got, he's got the gay, so there's 3 million gay dudes, right? So he's got the women that want those gay dudes because the gay dudes don't want them back. But Mont likes women, so he gets their women too. And he gets the women who are, unhappily married, that if they could do better, and if Mont would give them a shot, they would leave their whole situation and get with a guy like Mont. Then he has the majority of all the single women on earth with a pulse, regardless of the ones that are unattractive. If the women born with the XX chromosomes, he has the majority of those women too, if they're single. So him having those opinions makes sense because he has the range, and he has the range of options to do so. But now we've had other panel members that we may be sure that they're going to die a virgin. And if those people had those opinions, they would have never survived the panel. Because if the comments would have got them, and then if they didn't, my face would have, and I wouldn't even have to say nothing. The silence, I'm just saying, one of the things that I love about you, Yonci, is that like silence always speaks so loudly with you. You say my face is loud, when you're quiet, it's loud.
My silence is due to this casserole. It's banging. Oh my god! If anyone wants the recipe,
I'll definitely, since I saw who cooked it, I will give him credit for some of that. But the rest of it,
effort. I did the meat.
So wait. So we're saying it's a team effort because you chopped up some shit, or like because
I actually cooked the chicken and I made the bacon.
My son swears because he pulled the shrimp, the tails off the shrimp, and he did something in the kitchen.
I just ran out of time for the show and I'm starving. So thank God for someone to help out.
Aren't y'all such a cute team?
Aww, he's cute. Okay, here's some of the comments. The first one says, she tried to humiliate him. Distasteful AF. I hope they are teens or early 20s acting like that. Number 2, bless you. That was rude. That's a case where just saying nothing would have been so much better. Number 3, this is the day and age we're in, fortunately and unfortunately. I'd rather get that than be ignored or left unread. Oh, that's interesting. At least she's saying she saw his DM and wasn't interested. Now, the reasoning for her lack of interest can probably be questioned, but I have no issue on how she did it. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll do one more. Treat people how you want to be treated. This was immature. She could have easily just said, thanks for, lost my place. Thanks for the message, but I'm not interested. Probably took longer to find the emojis than it would have been to be type a simple and polite rejection. This
is their balloon pop in real life.
Sad.
I guarantee you, most likely any girl who like is into like putting stuff like that and responding like that is currently being treated the same way by the man that she wants. So
1,000,000,000%. Yeah. And she's probably not even high quality mattress food, let alone like what do we? He said it. I'm cool. I'll just leave it at that.
I can't.
I've never seen, never. So one of the things that I like, if you remember, I used to always put on social media. I've never had a disagreement with an attractive woman on social media ever. I've never had one. That's the same idea. I've never seen a woman who treats men that way be treated like that's not also being treated like that by someone in real life that she wants. Like there's a guy that she's sitting outside his house waiting on the girl that's in there to come out so she can go in, change the sheets, and cuddle with him.
Oh,
like that's the type of stuff those women end up doing. So for her to do that now, it's like when a bully gets beat up and you can't pick on that bully anymore, but you still go bully the other kids that are still scared of you. Women do that when they treat men that way.
we are going to go on to the next question. Let's get into the age demographic of the men of Yonsternation. Women are always asking me about the stats, and I'm like, I don't know. It's not a public. I mean, it's not a business page, so I can't get the stats like I can on my main page. But I did ask them. Hopefully, they're not lying. Y'all said they lie about everything. But here are the ages. Soak it all in. These men are ages mostly 30 to 50.
Help teach me things and even predict the future.
Ladies, are you surprised by that?
I definitely didn't predict that.
I wasn't.
Tattoo.
That's what I tracked.
Power of generative AI with the speed and security of AWS.
Oh.
It is for the lights.
Did you say please don't for the prayer?
Yeah, like what you praying for me for? I'm fine.
I cannot.
Yeah, save that for the congregation. I'm good. We're praying and blessed over here.
I am so done with you. Okay. All right. By the way, you guys, I actually was slacking. I didn't ask a submitted question. I mean, I didn't put up a submitted question. So if you posted one and you're waiting in the queue, I'm sorry. I just had a blind moment. So I went to type up the things and I was like, oh, I didn't even put one up. So I will come back.
Put up last week was enough for 2 weeks. That was beautiful.
So my bad. All right, y'all. So let me take this one down. Okay, here's the next question. What is the most unusual thing a request a woman has made of you in the bedroom? Willie's already shaking his head, and I'm pretty sure I didn't lie.
Nope.
You think it was cat?
Stop.
So, interesting thing, there were only 4 comments. One was just a comment. So yeah. Oh, actually, wait. Why did I set myself for this? I don't want to have to read these on YouTube. I just forgot how to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to try.
Just send them, put them in the chat. I'll read them for you.
All right, let me see.
And we're past the 7-minute mark, so the algorithm's not even looking for crazy.
Is that a real thing?
Yes.
All right, let me see.
I asked ChatGPT to break down YouTube's monetization policy and give you a list of reasons of things you can be demonetized for. It'll explain it to you, and you don't have to read like the entire 600 pages.
Oh my God. I literally almost said this to like one of my most conservative friends with no context. Thank God I like just double checked and looked to see because I can drag stuff on my computer. I literally almost sent her a screenshot of these answers with no context, and she would have just been like, okay. So the ones I can't read, you can read. Okay, Willie.
Did you send them to me on Instagram or you just text them to me?
Text. Okay. So the first one says the most unusual request was watch me with another woman.
That's not
this random woman said she wanted to peg me. And if you guys don't know what that is, Google it.
That's what Diddy and Cassie was doing.
That's crazy.
He said, what the heck? I'm not on the down low. Someone got asked to do a golden shower in the shower, but he declined. Another guy says he was asked to spit in her mouth. Definitely not the most unusual, but definitely not common. I guess that does something for people. Her wanting to, well, I guess actually two of them, the woman wanted to eat the groceries. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay, I forgot I could say it that way. So I thought there would be a lot more juicy answers, out of almost 1,000 guys. That's, I guess, women aren't as crazy as.
No, never mind. Never mind.
I'm fortunate that a woman actually never really played with me like that. I guess I just seem like a normal guy, which is good. Yeah, I never got asked to do nothing weird and nothing like no pegging, nobody trying to eat my butt. Like
That's how you know a woman don't respect you, like as a man. That's how you know. That's outside of her calling you like a BAN or some other stuff like that. Like when it matters, that's how you know. Like unfortunately, I've had the situation that I had, but that wasn't this. That wasn't disrespect. That was just an exuberant amount of creativity. Given my birthday, she thought that it would be like a correlation between my birthday being on Halloween to also being able to fetishize costumes, right? Cool. No one has ever asked me to do any of that other stuff. Like no diddy. Like no one has ever been like, hey, can I penetrate you? Can I put your legs over my shoulders? None of that stuff. Like it's never happened. I think that the guys that have those experiences are just okay. The women know who they can play with. I'll leave it at that.
What about a woman who wants like violence? You ever had someone who wanted a level of aggressiveness that you personally were?
That's fine. That's not crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just consent to it on video in case you decide to call the police later. That's all I would tell you to do. You got to get a contract for that.
I was gonna say, I would be afraid as a man, like something that could leave a mark or.
One of my friends was asked to choke a girl with a jump rope. And I was like, oh, that's different. And he was like, yeah, but like, I was, I said, well, did you get her to text it to you? Like, did she want her to do that for me? He was like, I ain't even think about it. But like the next morning, her neck looked crazy. It looked like she tried to, unalive herself. And I was like, well, technically you did. But
I'm done. Like,
I'm gonna do whatever my partner asks.
Yeah, I'll do a lot of things to a girl, and they just know I'm. When it comes to like, you can't do nothing to me. Like I'm just
it's one sided. I'll spit in your mouth. I'll choke all that. Like I'll choke my woman, all of that stuff, and do whatever she want me to do to her. Because cool, bedroom's not a place for no on my end as far as what I'm being requested to do to her. But that's it is definitely a double standard.
What about being the little spoon? Can you be the little spoon?
That's cool occasionally.
How tall is she?
Let's say
if she got to be like little, so I can put her on like a backpack. You can't. I'm saying you can't be 5'10" and we be 6 foot and we like two grown ass dudes laying in bed. No, you need to be in the inferior position there.
I feel like and I always say this. I feel like watch out for experimental men, right? Like just men who like open to new things. Just watch out because like I'm not open to anything new. Everything that I do sexually right now, I wanted to do since before I had sex. Like I dreamed about everything that I'm doing right now. Like I've never been open to like, all right, let me try this because men who experimental, who like you tell them like, oh, this feel good, let's try it. Like they do stuff for pleasure. I'm not having sex for like pleasure. Like that's not like fully. I mean, on the basic level, yeah, but like men who like, oh, this feel good, let's try it. Like, nah, just because something feel good don't mean I'm gonna do it. Like, oh, let me try and lick the
regular schmuggler.
No, don't lick my nipple.
Dudes are the ones that go to jail and get comfortable real quick.
Yeah.
They go in there like, oh shit, okay. Well, I was doing it on the outside. Now I'm in here and ain't nobody gonna know. I'm cool.
Just be mindful of men who's willing to try new things.
Yeah. I'll say it. Like I tell a woman, like if a guy's giving you too many like critiques about how you give head, ask him how you know. That's important.
What if
you gotta do your mouth like this? Like put your tongue. Now, how do you know, sir?
Oh, like giving her specific on how she should, not how it feels.
Specific on the how to do it, not how he likes it. How to do it is different. Like, how you know, bro? How?
change the pressure with your tongue.
Yeah. Like, you don't know how to keep your teeth out the way? Let me show you. Like, what? Like, no, I'm cool. Absolutely not. Like, man, that man has had a phallus in his oral cavity before.
Or like, man, like when you hear about all the Deshaun Watson stuff, like him, like, yo, go lower, you know, like touch my.
Bro is wild.
That's
Like,
crazy.
There's only been two black men prior to Deshaun Watson that I was sure was guilty. It was Diddy and R. Kelly. But Deshaun Watson has made his way onto that list. 23 people not telling the same story.
Yeah.
At different times. Like, no, you are a predator, sir.
He like his backside played with.
Yeah, like that's something that's damning for one woman to say about a man. A woman who's never met Ray could be like, he like his whole play with, and we're gonna look at him like, we may not agree with it, but then, like, you know what I'm saying, it's the damage is done. But now if 20 women come up and like Ray like his whole play with, we looking at Ray like,
yeah,
hey, can you not put me next to Ray? Like, can you put me next to my, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's weird like that because 20 people don't tell the same lie. And I'm talking about the same identical lie.
Yeah.
Them girls was talking about, he told him counterclockwise. Like, he was asking, could he get a prostate massage? Half the girls didn't even know what that was. If you're a black male over 40, you know what it takes to reach your prostate because you hate going to the doctor once a year to get it done. He was asking to pay for that. Like,
what's the psychology of it? Like where he went to get these things done? Because you could have easily found a woman for like $60 to, like, you know, who that's what she do.
The crazy part, you offering $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get your whole play with, when you can go to the strip club, and he was in Houston. I'm talking about those women are they're turning to porta potties in Dubai. And they could have made porta potty in Dubai money for just playing with some man. He was doing that on purpose. Yeah. Like, he liked the idea of going to get a massage and getting extra because he was a celebrity. He loved that idea. And clearly, you know, $240 million later, it's come back to bite him in the ass. No pun intended.
So I just realized that I forgot to put the poll up for the last question. So real quick, we'll just show this. This was for whether she was savage, how she rejected him. 74% said she was rude. 26% said, I don't see an issue. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. You guys, we got through the first 5 questions. Awesome job. Congratulations, Ray, for sticking around. This is the time where we do the singles feature. But she is not here yet. So we're going to just switch over to that once she does come. Okay. Let me see if she's coming on soon. So that'll be fun. So I want to talk about, remember how I was saying that, do guys really understand how to make themselves look better? Like, do guys even try? You guys were laughing at my savagery and the way that I asked that question. But look at this video of what a difference a doggone haircut can make. Guys, if you don't, what'd you say?
Yeah, we know. Trust me. All of us
probably some kind of fade, if I can.
Well, let's start with the top.
Stop it. Get some help.
Obviously, we probably won't take too much off. Right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense. If anything, just kind of get any long hairs that's around it. Fade wise, I think it would be cool, bro, if we do like a mid-ball fade.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Whatever you got in mind is what I'm gonna do.
I'm thinking down the skin, boom, all over, right? I don't think we should do a taper, because if we do a taper, bro, it will focus more on the top. You know what I mean? Because you still.
I don't have the face.
No.
That's G, but
all right, so mid-ball fade. Keep the top. Just.
Do baby, it's the Iceman pow wow. I got my mouth looking something like a disco ball. I got the diamonds in the ice out. Can't say I might cause a cold front if I take a deep breath.
He looks so different. And I had to check and see. I don't know what he's wearing, if he had on a chain, but this is just, you know, he's gonna pull a different level of chick with this vibe than this one. And somebody said it in the comments, It's all good until he goes back to the Amish community where he came from. They're not gonna have it.
Haircuts are BBLs for dudes. Like we've been saying that. Like,
Crazy.
we're just lucky that we can get one every 2 weeks.
I feel like if a guy does not get a lot of action with women, like she just instantly says no, he needs to seek out men who seem like they have their stuff together and just ask for tips. Like put your pride aside and just be like, where do you get your haircut? Where do you shop? Because there are some guys where the women are just looking at their page and going, no, just off of the photos. And I hate to be me, but the reality is like people want to be attracted. And he wasn't even a bad looking guy. His choices made him look unattractive,
That makes him unattractive. His choices. Like, so I mean, that's why he's unattractive. Bro he went from looking like what's that country singer's name? Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. He went from looking like bro to Paul Wall down there. So
you mean Jelly Roll?
Yeah, Jelly Roll.
Yep.
Mine's the tattoo.
Your kids.
You know, if you ever see a white man like this with a lineup, that means he date black women every time. Every time.
About to.
Yeah, if he wasn't, he about to. I'm telling you, every time you see a white man with a line, if he has a line on his beard and he has a line on over here somewhere, he date black women.
I've never seen that not to be the case. In the military and out, it's the same. You always knew who, you know what I'm saying, might say the N-word when they listen to the rap music in the car riding home. You always knew who it would be. Ain't he already double chained up too?
Oh yeah, he already there. Black tee.
Okay, so all right, I didn't realize she didn't have the info, so let me give her the link. She's ready, so whenever she comes in, y'all be nice to her, okay?
Hey, listen. Anytime you listen, just real quick. Anytime you tell a man to be nice to a woman, you're telling us that she's ugly. That's how we take it.
No, I don't even know how she looks. I haven't even looked at her page.
I'm telling you. That's why I'm like giving you the free game. Like if we were out and you're like, here comes my friend, and you like, will it be nice? I'm like, I'm leaving because I know she's ugly. And I'm not going to. My face is going to betray me.
Okay, well, just know I don't even know what she looks like. I haven't looked at her pictures, so. Yeah. So, guys, you need to put your best foot forward. It's not about just women being shallow. You like what you see. You like to like what you see, and so we got to do that. Okay, so one more thing I'm going to talk about before she joins us. Go ahead and remove here. So this is a huge pet peeve for me. So many guys say, "Oh, I want a woman to be my piece. I want her to be my piece. I want her to be my piece." That is great. However, are you bringing chaos? I hear a lot of guys who describe, you actually get into it, they're being called out and there are consequences to the actions that they have created. And when the woman addresses it, he's now accused of taking away from his piece. So, ladies in the comments, because I know I'm not going to hear too much from this panel. Y'all gonna stick with the guy. Y'all gonna, like you say, the girls do. The guys gonna stick together. Have you ever seen a guy complain about a woman not being his piece when she's actually just bringing the consequences for his?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Willie, you muted.
I've done that. Wait, we gonna tell the truth. You got the two most honest panel members in the history of honesty. Like, that's not hard to admit. I was on Demon Time from 2008 to 2015.
What's the question?
So the question was, have you ever seen a guy talking about, I need a woman to be my piece, and when he accuses a woman of not being his piece, it's actually because she is calling him out on the stuff that he is doing. It's the consequences of his actions.
How dare you mention the fact that I just liked the girl who likes all my pictures, you saw us eating lunch together. Like, how dare you?
I feel like it's used synonymously with, like, I just want to shut up and just take whatever, and then now you're, this great girl.
Be my piece is like paramount to A woman saying, "Don't judge me." It's the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think
really good comparison.
Yeah.
I I understand the peace thing, even though like yeah, my past relationships, I wouldn't even say relationships, situationships. I was always the problem, right? I was always the problem in those because I wanted several women. Um, but in terms of like I understand like the idea of peace, and I don't think a lot of men can't articulate themselves, but I don't think they're asking you to be their peace. I think they're asking you not to for example, a lot of men don't get as wrapped up emotionally as women do. Like they don't go to work and come home and start telling you like, oh my god, look, my boss did this, Johnny did this, they cheating with this. Like we're not bringing that stuff home. We like, oh, we went to work. I don't care about none of that. We good. The only thing that can bring us stress is our woman. Like for us to get home and like she can bring us stress. So they pretty much just asking you not to be the stress, not to be the source of the stress. Like
So I do know that that's what they're describing. Like, don't add stress to my life. However, I feel a big majority of them use that as a cop out when they are facing the repercussions. So, he is he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's dropping the ball, and her mentioning something is now her. Oh, I just want to relax. I just want to come home and just chill and watch TV. Why do you got to da 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 da? But the reality is, this is like real life stuff that has to happen. And I think also sometimes people just don't want to deal with conflict, and they just avoid things. They don't talk about it. They sweep it under the rug, and now there's this big, massive thing. To me, the only proper way to use the "be my peace" is don't bring unnecessary drama. Don't be nagging, don't be talking about things that aren't relevant. But if you're staying out late, you're not paying the bills, you're flirting with other women in your face, like, to me, you can't get to use that "be my peace," because that's the case. Everybody wants peace. Like, nobody wants to come home to chaos.
Like, damn, don't I know you caught me cheating, but shit, can I watch the game in peace?
No, that's literally how I have seen the reactions be. Like, why do you have to bring this up? Like, every time I beat you, you just like, it's like
Oh
so
my
I
god,
agree with you.
you only caught me one time. Why are you so mad? Like, these are not things that I've said to anybody. I'm just
Yeah.
you haven't let it go yet. Yeah.
yeah.
I agree in that. Yeah.
That not letting it go part is major because if you agree, so for example, let's just say I got caught cheating and you decide to stay and work it out, you're not going to sit here and drag that shit out for 2-3 years of our relationship. You should have just took your ass on and they did what you was going to do. Like, because it is not fair to the person once you agree to move on.
I think I agree and I disagree. So the part that I agree with is know what you can handle. However, even if you say long term, I do want to stay with this person, I think there is a grieving process and there's going to be a process where they're going to have to build trust. What I have issue with is when a person says, okay, let's say every year you went on a guy's trip, but now I've caught you cheating. If the next year I'm not comfortable with you going, I don't think that you should be shocked by that. I think that there should be a level of humility, like, yeah, I got to build this,
You know how men we all cheat on guys' trips.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Perfect timing. Well, you guys, we are at the segment of the show where we are going to do our singles feature. So the men get removed from the stage, but they don't have to go home. We are going to come back after the show. Well, actually, we might not tonight. I might have gotten off easy tonight. All right, Miss Nikki, we are going to go over a couple of questions. While I'm asking you questions, everyone in the comments can submit their questions. They have free reign to ask whatever they want, but you also have free reign to plead the fifth. If you do plead the fifth at that point, you will be the segment will be ended, and then we will continue on. So, are you ready to get started? My questions are very easy.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I can't speak for them. Okay. All right. First question. Are you comfortable sharing with us your age?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Just turned 40.
Okay. Welcome to the 40 Club.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any cheering?
No cheering.
All right. Next question about diapers is irrelevant. Okay. So no kids. What city and state are you joining us from?
New York City.
Okay. Are you willing to relocate for love?
Open, but not entirely committed to moving. No.
Okay.
There's there's certain
What,
states I'm like, okay, but yeah,
and I think it's kind of hard if you come from a place like me, Cali, or you, New York.
yeah.
Like that is a culture shock if you go to like the Midwest somewhere, um, something like that. Um, okay, let's let's see the next question. What are your major turnoffs? What are three things that you think about that you're like, oh god, if he has this or does this, I am out of there.
Are we talking about physical or
All of you, actions, looks, everything.
everything? Oh boy, just three things.
She said just three. Whatever you can rattle up.
Uh, I guess physically shorter than myself.
Okay.
I'm 5'5". I'm not terribly tall. I think that's the average woman's height. Shorter than myself, or bad hygiene, teeth. I pride myself on going to the dentist twice a year. Never had a cavity in my life. At least that's physically. Bald doesn't matter. You don't have to be 6 feet either. I know that was a topic of discussion. Bad grammar
That's one for me.
or foul, like excessive foul language.
Okay.
I think that I'll stick with those three, and then as they come up,
Oh, that's fair. Okay. When was your last relationship? Like, how long have you been single?
It's been some time. I would say at least right before the pandemic.
Okay.
So 19.
And what was your longest relationship? What's the length of time, the longest?
Uh it it was a while, the college boyfriend that turned into after college. So I would say that was like 8 years.
Okay. Oh, yeah, super long. All right. If you came with a warning label, what would your red flags be?
Oof. Nobody wants to ever admit their flaws. Judgy.
Okay. That's
Judgy, a little overcritical.
okay. I will say you, I think, are the first person I did not have to probe to not give the I'm really complimenting myself in a cryptic way. So I applaud you. And I actually think that people give credit. No one expects perfection, but it's actually very admirable when a person can reflect and they know what their shortcomings are. So kudos to you. I'm shocked. Usually I have to pull teeth. What is the last thing that you did for fun where you're just like, woohoo, this was a good time?
I think I'm pretty adventurous. I mean, I just did my birthday up in Vegas. Traveling, probably going to go to Iceland in about 2 months. I've been to Iceland again. So traveling, let's see, for an event. Just went to the Mets game, the Liberty game. Huge sports fan. So
Okay, I was gonna ask that question. Okay,
yeah.
very nice. All right, the last one that I have for you, like I said, mine are the easy ones. How would your how would your longest ex describe
Very caring, sweet. I mentioned the little overcritical.
you?
Very caring, sweet, thoughtful. Can be kind of harsh. I give it to you straight, no chaser.
It's definitely a New York stereotype that might be true. Okay. All right. Well, you passed mine. Now remember, at this point, be the fifth if you want to. And I go in order. So y'all, if I skip something, it is not intentional, and let me know if I did. Okay, here we go. I'm scrolling. I went way too far. Oh, not the first question. Okay. Willie said, when is the last time you had a physical?
April this year.
All right. How many children do you want? Assuming you want children.
I do. Biological children. Genetically mine. I'm not into let me have a puppy or a pet and that's my child. Or adoption is like the only last resort for me, but I want biological children because my genetics I think are awesome. So
Aw. And how many of those bio kids would you want?
However many God's willing to have, like, let me have one, at minimum 3 at
Okay.
most.
Okay. I like this one. What dish are you expected to bring to your family's Thanksgiving dinner? Willie, I think this needs to be a staple.
That's a good question. So I heard you guys talk about mac and cheese. For me, my dish is actually mashed potatoes, heavily whipped with butter, the gravy on the side. We do collard greens, candy yams, mac and cheese, ham, turkey, the whole thing.
Okay.
So my dishes that I bring I do Friendsgiving. So I do mashed potatoes and cream corn, like from STK.
Okay. Very
Those
nice.
are my 2 dishes.
Okay. Let's see. Scrolling. I think am I caught up? I am not dealing with your adoption comment. Y'all are out of control. Well, you made it. You passed. Very good job. They went very easy on you today. So congratulations to you. You are more than welcome to stick around and continue on with the panel. I'm going to go ahead and bring the fellas back on. You guys, thank you so much.
You skipped that one on purpose.
What? Which one?
Oh, man. If you're going to let her slide, that's cool. Go ahead.
Wait, you're talking about the very last one?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you doing?
My usual question.
No, I literally didn't see it.
Oh,
it was mixed in with all the adoption questions.
It sets a tone for fellas to know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I really did miss it. His question is, when was the last time you had your cheeks clapped?
Now, let me ask another question. Is it cheeks clap well or just in general?
Oh, best response I've ever heard.
Either way, you're half responsible for it, so it takes 2 people to have bad sex.
I don't know about that one.
All right. Did you plead the fifth, or you were trying to answer?
I want to plead the fifth on that one.
No, by pleading the fifth, we're just only going to assume that this was very recent within the last week.
No, it really no.
If you pleaded the fifth to me, you took a shower. You just finished and took a shower to come on camera now. So like, that thing is still steaming.
No, that's.
Like, you asked me if I committed a crime and I plead the fifth. It's like, okay.
Don't let them phase you, Nikki. Don't let them phase you, girl.
Thank you. It was not.
Pliers.
It was not as recently. Period. All right.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. I prefer to keep my sexual history private until someone gets to know me. All right.
As you should. So I want to say, you guys, this is taking me back to the old days where I only had to do a 2-hour show. I will say
you got an extra 5 minutes.
Oh, dang it! I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. See, I started talking slick too soon, and I literally wrote it down that I have 5 minutes after we break.
That's cool.
Okay, all right. So let me go here and let me look. Dang, I think I brought up all my. See, because I was pacing myself for 9. I think I asked all the questions yet. All right, so you guys in the comments, you get to control the show. Drop in some suggestions for topics for us to close out the last 6 minutes. No, what are you doing? I cannot. Trying to think of something juicy. Did you guys like the would you rather that we did last time? Or you want to do something deeper?
I don't have a preference.
Okay. Where is my dog?
I survived this episode. I felt like I was going to be re-traumatized by one of the questions, but I was able to avoid having to participate, so it worked out.
I feel like it doesn't count if I said my goodbyes already. Months. Not the pastor getting involved in the trauma. Pastor, is this
wait, did that come from the collection plate?
Is this a love offering or is this a show?
You know it's a love offering from him. You know it is.
No, he said let me add 5 minutes to that.
Where?
That's what he said.
He did. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit! Listen. He took out the collection plate.
Wow, Pastor. I thought you were just gonna, agape this thing. Thank you, Pastor David.
Did you drop agape? Like this algorithm is going to be so confused. Like, this is going to come up between Kendra G and TD Jakes now.
So the pastor won't let me be great, and also neither is Mont. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the contribution. I really was excited about having a big back moment and getting more casserole, but apparently I'll be sitting here for another.
I'm gonna call Monte for you real quick. Hold on.
For some more. It was so good, and my water's getting a little bit low too.
I'll tell him. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna place the order. I got you.
I might not even be here the whole time.
That's a shame.
You
Just
trying to go to sleep without giving me none.
doing me dirty and dipping, man.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see. We gotta get some topics going, y'all. Y'all can't just have me on the clock and then nothing to do. Nikki, by the way, don't worry about being held hostage. If you have to dip, you have to dip. If you do need to temporarily step away, turn your camera off, and I'll take you off.
This is Monte Cooks. We'd like to place an order for another plate of casserole and
half the
also
serving
a
size.
refill on the Stanley water.
Half the serving size, not the whole.
She said 1.5 times the serving.
No!
Also, could you please? She's been extended, so she's going to need some extra sustenance for the next extension that she's about to receive. So if you could please just bring her a hearty plate and a snack, maybe a napkin, and also a lemon drop. Sorry.
Oh, lemon drop.
Yeah, shoot me the bill. Shoot me the bill. I got it. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. What's the ETA? I mean, what's the delivery time?
I can hear him.
Okay, 3 to 5 minutes. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. All right.
Wow. I have to give him a good tip. That's fast service.
Whoa, hey. This is a family show. A family show.
I was talking about the same payment plan that you were on.
First of all, I'm not paying him like that. What are you talking about?
That's what I said. The plan that you were on. You said, I'll pay the tab. So I was talking about the same type of tab that you were talking about.
Whoa, hold on. Listen, the way that I paid him is cash.
That's what I'm talking about.
It rhymes with cash, but it ain't how. No, absolutely not. No. Hey, this is a family show, and I told you, y'all know who to play with. You're not there, not cut from that cloth.
I cannot. Oh, okay, Pastor. I didn't know he was Brad. All right. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, is this the David? Hold on. Let me go back here. Let me go see.
Didn't Acacia give us like income requirements and all that too?
Oh, they didn't access Natasha, by the way. Sorry.
I'm Nakasha. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's all right.
Income requirements. Like talk to us about that.
So I do expect, or my expectations in a mate is to match kind of where I'm at. So 6 figures and above.
Okay, so when you say 6 figures, that's broad. So give them a more closer range.
Anything over 110, 115.
So
anything over 110.
You want a real 6 figures a year? Okay.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you ever let your man move into your house, like if you were dating a guy, and you're saying y'all hit it out? Would you rather move into his house or him move into yours?
My preference is I move into his. However, if he's moving in my house, we got to figure out what are we doing next, because this is not. You're just going to come here, live, and just put your feet up, whistling in my house. So.
No, he wouldn't do that. He would move in, like he would take over the bill, like he would pay the mortgage and stuff, but it's still like your house. Like, would you feel like he was equally invested? Given that it's your home?
I would not. But it works both ways. So, like for example, I have a lot of friends now, married a friend. She moved into his house, and then they sold that house. Eventually, once they got settled together, they sold that house and bought another house together. So I was like, that's kind of like my vision.
Why wouldn't you look at him as like equal if he moved into, even though he's paying the bills?
It's like you kind of upbringing, how my mom kind of raised me in that mentality. Like the man has the upper hand. He gets paid more. A fact. It's a man's dominated world.
What do you mean?
So, women get paid, I think, 78 cents to every dollar a man gets paid.
Wait, let's not go down that road with Willie. Willie,
That's
it's
been
okay.
debunked by,
It's okay, Willie.
debunked by every financial expert on earth. There's no wage gap between men and women because they're doing the same job. It's because we work harder jobs, we work longer hours, so we make more money than y'all. But even if that was the truth, though, so him coming in making more money than you, he's paying the bills in the house. You still wouldn't think that he's equal? It's your house, right? Or is it because the fact that it's your house, you've been paying the bill before you met him, the equity in the home is yours, you picked it out, you designed it, you cleared the space in his closet for him, he took your side of the bed, and now he has to have his own vanity outside the bathroom because you're used to having both sides of the sink.
I can share the sink. I don't know about the closet, but I can share the sink. And he's not taking my side of the bed. He can get the other side. But I think it's a dynamic. It's like he didn't have any equity or sweat equity it's my house at the end of the day. So I do think it builds that resentment.
So would you put him on the deed to your house if he moved in and you guys were, married?
We would probably have to buy a house together.
Question. Now, does this answer change depending on how much of the house you've already had paid off? Let's say you just got that house. You've been there for 6 months, right? And your mortgage is $2,000. That means what you put in $12,000 so far. What if he pays that mortgage for another 2 years and he's put in $24,000? Wait, no, that's like what, 28. Does that change that dynamic? And is that more? Now, is that your house or is it more his house? How does that work?
No, it's still my house at the end of the day because I put in.
He has more sweat equity into it.
I found the house, the realtor, the agent, the lawyer. It's still, at the end of the day, my house is on my name.
So let's say he put more. Let's say he paid off $100,000, and you paid off. You had the 6 months in. Now, was that more of his house?
It's a little bit more of his house. A little bit more. It's definitely a discussion.
So Yonci, do you see what my point was earlier?
I don't disagree. I said women need to have a plan. They need to see that there's a plan. Like if he came in, he was like, "This is just temporary. My house is getting fumigated or whatever, or I'm starting a new job in 2 months." Like she just needs to see that there's a plan. She's not looking for a hobosexual.
Exactly.
Whatever plan he has, he still doesn't get equal say in the home.
He what?
He still doesn't get equal say in the home, and she doesn't have kids. So imagine if she had children already in the home. That was the point that I was making earlier. Like, no man moves into a woman's house on equal footing. Is she like literally unbiased? She didn't even know that we had the conversation earlier. Proves my point.
Mama, I'm protected.
I think most women would. I think if you talk to most women, and they like if they just got that house, and I think if you before you started paying them, you was like, hey, I'll pay all of these bills, I'll take care of the mortgage, but this is our house now, legally. I think most women would agree if y'all married and you about to pay all the bills.
Married's a little different than just dating, playing house.
Man, that's why I asked. I preface mine with being married, though. So the answers were even married didn't change anything. But if a woman moves into a man's house under the same circumstances, she wants to be on the deed because it makes her feel like she's vested. Right now, like one of the things that I've learned is sometimes you just got to ask the question and let people talk. And she told you the truth. She didn't pontificate. She didn't waver. She's like, no, it's still I picked it out. She even again, respectively. She even took credit for things that aren't hard to do. She found a realtor. So she went and picked the house out. She did the tour. Anybody can do that. But to her, again, nothing wrong with that. But to her, that weighed in her decision on why the men would never be equal in their home. It's still her house. She picked it. She did it. She did the taxes. She did the escrow. She stepped through the home inspection. All of that stuff mattered for her. Even though none of those things are difficult to do. So as far as comparing to a man who would just buy a house, if we weren't giving a man wouldn't get that same credit because he bought the house, did the home inspection, found the realtor, went through 5 different houses. The average woman is not going to credit him for those things. She's going to feel entitled to being on that deed because they are married now, and she wants to feel like she's equal.
Wait, are you
Not
saying
the-
that women who are married would not put the man on the deed? Is that what you're saying?
She just said she wouldn't. The one we had on the panel said she wouldn't. And then two, generally speaking, women, we've had the conversations. Women expect to have those things. If a woman moved into my house, I would understand why she would want to be on the deed. But my response would be similar to hers. No, we're gonna do something together. Like I understand that. But what like the concessions that she made for herself to, not to say prove an argument, but to explain her assertions and how she feels, where a lot of things that just are trivial in the home buying process. If you bought one home, you bought 10 homes, you do this shit every time. So none of that stuff is difficult. It just takes time and it's part of the process. But when a man is doing the same thing, no man is going to say, "Oh, well, I picked the house out. I found a realtor. I did the home inspection. Like it was my house." That's all it is for us. It's simple. We've put the money into the home. I've been in this home for 10 years. You move in now. Why would I put you on the deed for a home that you haven't put any equity into? We can come up with an agreement. We'll figure other things out. But the default is to just like, okay, not again, respectfully, not for in a mean or combative way. Women will credit themselves for the most nonsensical shit in a very, very rudimentary process. And when I'm saying nonsensical, I mean the things that aren't hard to do aren't special. Like the part that matters, like even when Mont asked her if he put $100,000 down on the home, would it still be his? Her honest response, and I love it for you. I love that you gave it. It would be more his, but it's still her house. So if he was at 30%, now maybe he's at 35, but it's still her house. And that man has put more money into the home than she did under Mont's premise. So that was why, and that is why men should never move into a woman's home.
I think it's another reason why a man shouldn't move into a woman's home. I also think you're kind of giving generalizations on the other half of women never give credit, to a man for doing the work or picking the house. I disagree with you on that front. You're right. It is a trivial, the chief. It is a trivial thing to do, but again, it is still the time is not just, free. So for me, like picking out the right house in a school district for future children, all those all those things, at least I consider, and I hope a mate would do that too. So
that's what I'm saying. None of those things are unique to you, though. None of those things are unique to any home buyer. So it's not just that's part of the process. I'm not saying that they don't mean anything. What I am saying is that it's not special to you. But a man is not going to think he's not going to. In his argument for me and it's my house. I bought the house. I've put $600,000 in this home. You just moved in. The mortgage is 80% paid off. Why would I put you on the deed to a home that the money that you're not entitled to just because we're married? That's our argument.
Okay.
We're not going to substantiate that argument with all the, like you said, school traffic patterns, property taxes, things like that. Like that's just part of the process.
Okay. Let me interject here for a little bit because I'm not sure how long you've been on this meeting here, but I can't help but to feel like it's slightly little jabs at me because this was my story. This was my beginning story of how
I'm supporting my assertion that I made in contrast to your story. That's exactly what I did. Like it's not a personal thing; it's to prove my point.
Okay, no, that's fine, and I'll be the first to say and I understand everyone's viewpoint. Again, I'm a man with daughters. If they told me this story, yeah, I might be like, "You did what?" But then I would sound like a complete hypocrite. Now, one part of the story that I did not mention. Now, this is the part that it's going to sound insane. I know for a fact it is, but let me spit it to you like this. I met my wife August 22nd, 2015. I moved in with her September 1, 2015. So in like 10 days, it was like, y'all live together? And I was like, yeah. Now, to answer your question about the whole putting me on the deed, the only reason why I ever asked my wife at that time then to put me on the deed of her house after I've been in for 2 years, and mind you, she owned the house 1 year prior to me, was due to my veteran status. I don't pay property tax, so that was the only reason why I said, "Oh, you put me on the deed of the house." You don't gotta pay property tax ever. She still declined.
Damn, I didn't know that.
She still declined and was like, "Nah, I'm good." But I was like, "Okay, that's fine." But here's the flip side. A year after that, the house that I'm currently in right now, even married with a kid at the time, I bought this house. Not we. I bought it. Yeah.
Let's
So
be clear.
yeah, it was like so when she was like, "I'm not on the deed of this house," no, because I used the same logic that she used on me. I was like, "Did you put anything in on it? Did you do the inspections? Did you do the earnest money deposit? Did you put down closing costs?" Then I did it. Yeah. I use your logic against you. So,
Question: Is
Yeah,
this your ex-wife or your current wife or?
my current.
Okay, cool.
I respect you for standing on business and even having the conversation, but
Mhm.
you highlighted 2 points that I made. That logic you used was hers.
Yep.
It wouldn't have been yours originally.
Mhm.
And then two, something else I noticed is that if I'm in a position where I'm like, hey, put me on your deed to your home so I can save you money, and you say no, and you only have a year into it, the
Deal
character
breaker.
me, because now it becomes a financial literacy concern. And
Mhm.
I would rather you have sold vagina. I can probably get past that faster than I can you being financially illiterate. That is the biggest red flag for me in a human, let alone someone I'm considering joining my life with. And then also knowing how divorces work. As, as someone who has a substantial stake in protecting my assets,
Mhm.
just because she's not on the deed to your house doesn't mean she's not going to get anything.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a huge risk for me, not you. I
Mhm.
can never tell a married person what to do in their relationship. Me in your shoes, that is a huge risk because she's already shown me that she doesn't make the most sound decisions financially. And then when we get divorced or when you're going through a divorce, that's when you will really get to know your wife.
Mm.
That's when you will get to see the sides of her that you may have never even imagined were there. Because when the marriage ends and the claws come out and the truth gets told, like you may get lucky and be married for 30 years, like Judge Mathis, right? 29 years. But when the claws come out, when shit is not working right, that's when you get to know that person you've been really laying down with. And I would hate for anyone, especially a man with a home, to be put in that position. One of the things that we will never address on this show is that I do a lot for single fathers and men's rights. That's a passion of mine. It's You would be surprised how many men in your position that have your same story end up getting bent over by the court system and a woman scorned. It's like by default. So again, it's not legal advice, but I will tell you that understanding the odds and the numbers and the statistics to be what they were, it would be worth your time and effort to take steps to protect yourself. And
Mhm.
with me or my son, I'm telling him that, hey, have the conversation with your wife and be like, hey, listen, we have a huge disconnect here. You feel this way, I feel that way. We both need to protect ourselves. You have your home, I have mine. I feel that we should come to some sort of post-nuptial agreement about what happens in the event that something does happen in the course of our marriage. Like, and
Oh,
again,
believe me, I'm a firm believer in Murphy's Law. Yeah. Something bad. If something bad can happen, it will. Yeah.
oh well, yeah, I was gonna give you a little. I wasn't gonna say Murphy's law because that's crazy. I wouldn't apply that to a marriage out of respect for people. I'm not married yet, so
Mm.
I would never associate that. But like also being a veteran, I understand like that. If I move into a woman's house, I'm like, hey, just put me on the deed so you cannot pay property tax. I can still do paperwork, so the your equity that you have, all yours, no claim to it. But if she still says no, I can't see a future with that because of the fact that simply, mind you, this is me
Right.
not giving advice, not disparaging your situation.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot see a future with someone who doesn't make the shit that's common sense doesn't. It's not common to them because property taxes are a month. Like if I see what I pay in property taxes, like and you only get to claim that on one home, so it's your primary home that you don't pay taxes on. So the thing is, you can have more than one home. You can have homes in different states and still claim it. So you can do that. But you're not going to, like, if you got 5 houses in Texas, the one you live in, knowing what I pay in property tax, and I'm seeing a woman paying the same, $30,000, $40,000 a year in property tax, and she doesn't want me to save her that money, it's a problem. Like, you got 30, 40,000 just throw away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the main reasons why I'm telling you, like, you can't, like, guys, generally speaking, this is not a good idea. She highlighted the things that I was talking about out of her own mouth, and then when you add the context to it, I double down now. Like, super double down. I love that you went and got a house, though, and then you were able. A lot of men would have been like, yeah, babe, you're right. I'll put you on the deed to this house anyway.
Hell
You
no.
took her logic and used it against her, so I'll give you all the credit in the world for that. That's something I don't think a lot of men would do.
No. And the funny thing about it is, it's like, it wasn't like, oh, you did something behind her back. I was like, no. Her mother was our real estate agent. I was like, so you knew more about the process than me.
Damn, her mom got paid off of you buying a house? Oh, that's tough, G.
So it was like right there, how it go. You in the room and you sign all the contracts. And I remember when I was on the call and, with the broker, and they were like, okay, we noticed that she's not on the loan. So if you want her on the deed, you have to tell us to put her on it. And I said, no, I'm good. Because I was like, I know her mom ain't going to stop this money. I was like,
her mom ain't going
to. Her mom ain't going to stop this.
She's like, baby, leave me out of that.
She was like, yep. So keep it moving.
Her mom is probably the one that told her to put you on the deed to her house.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it. I believe it. So I just said, all right, bet. I said,
cool.
don't worry about it. I'll do it myself.
Yeah. Listen, I like the fact, bro. I'm a contrary to popular belief. I am a huge fan of marriage when it's done correctly. I commend you.
I'm a huge fan of marriage, though. But
you're a huge fan of marriage.
Oh yeah, when you do it right. I'm not a huge fan of marriage to most the modern women. These 2024 women, I wouldn't marry them with somebody else's name. Like, what are we talking? No, absolutely not.
No, like, I can tell you this. Like, yes, I'm also a huge fan of marriage. A friend of mine actually married a girl 1 year to the day that he met her. So of course when I went to the wedding and all that, I was like, are you crazy? Like, you don't jump into this type of thing. This ain't for the week. But till this day, they still married 10 plus years. I'm like,
I was in the military and I married my high school sweetheart.
You and I both know marriage and military marriage are two different animals. Okay,
100%.
I've known plenty of folks. You married a chick that you just met in basic training, and I was like,
whoa.
Money.
Me and my wife had been together since we were 2 years old. We just got married when we joined the military together. I will tell you that the statistic where they say that 84% of first-term service members that are married get divorced before their first tour is over.
Yep.
We were definitely part of that statistic.
Damn.
I'm gone for a year. I come back home for 3 days. She leaves. On 2 of those days that we're back, me and her have duty. So that one day that I get to see her is like for 4 hours. So, that's not 4 hours is not a marriage sustained. So when she comes back, and when she comes back, I'm in town for 2 more days. I got duty. She doesn't. I go on deployment for another year. So in like the 3 years that we were our first tour, we saw each other for like a whopping 8 hours. So you know how that.
Yeah.
It didn't work. However, now since retired, not having that problem. I'm going. If everything that I've bought, if I were to meet a woman, like if my woman had a home with her name on it, I wouldn't move in. We've covered that. But also, what I would make sure that she understood was like, hey, you do understand that this is like financially, we're going to do what makes the most sense. Like that's part of me leading. I'm going to lead us down the path of prosperity. You don't have to understand it, but the beautiful thing about math is when you put it on paper, all you have to do is look at it and it makes sense. Do you want to spend $40,000 on property tax, or do you want to spend $40,000 on vacations and investments? If she picks property tax, she is mattress food now. That's all it can be. Like you can't. There's no. This
No,
is
I
ultimately
dig
the
it.
goal.
I dig it. Yeah.
Not putting me on a deed is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Like unless
Hey,
that's
I need some financial
unless
advice.
it's your asset and you had it before we got together, you own this house, we don't live in it, it's an investment property. Totally understand. You know, that's premarital, you know. But just not if I live in it, if we both live in this house and I pay the bills, and you especially if you haven't had it that long and you're not putting me on a deed, that's just to me it's stupid and it's selfish. And yeah, no, and I think that's why like it's kind of like how we gotta protect women sometimes from their
Bill,
proclivity to be emotional. Because like I know like me and my girlfriend get married one day if we get divorced, she probably I know what she probably turned into a different person. Totally understand it, right? I got kids with other women, and I know how they are now versus when we was together. So I know that'll happen. So you got to put things in place to protect yourself and them from that emotional, decision making, which is like a prenup, things like that. Kind of work them things out early. That's what I would do in every case. Yeah.
No, I dig it. I get it. Like the way life kind of works, it definitely happens to you full circle.
Mhm.
So,
And I
but
would I would hate to be put in a position to tell my wife I'm buying this house. I'm not. No, you ain't. No, you can't get on this. No, you know better than to even ask me to get on to be on this. Put your name on this.
well, see,
I would
again,
hate to be put in that
again,
position.
I applied her logic to me. See, it wasn't me coming at her maliciously or anything. It was, well, remember when I was in that position? And what did you tell me? So you can't sit there and say, well, that
Mhm,
was different. I'm like, nah, I had nothing to gain out of it. It was something for you to
mhm,
benefit, and you still told me no. So I just said back to her, like, well, if you want to be on this deed, what are you putting in on it?
yeah.
Then that's what you get. Okay.
But that's also the problem. Is like she made you use her logic when you're. Well, I don't know how your relationship is, but
Mhm.
technically, you're supposed to. In my relationship, I would be the leader, and then we have to. I have to navigate using the logic that you because you were selfish, and now I got to use your logic to teach you a lesson. That's the issue for me. Like for me to like now, even though this is the dumb decision, I got to tell you, you can't be on this. That's just yeah no Nick Nick Nikisha Nikasia how you say it?
Nicasia.
Ni-
You
how you
got
how
him.
Nicasia.
Yeah.
I saw you make a face. I'm curious. I would like to investigate. Was
Let's unpack
where that
the
come from?
face.
That's something.
Yeah, that's
There.
I can't hide my facial expressions. I'm the worst at
You and
poker.
Billy both. Wow.
First of all, I control my facial expressions very not well.
It must have been something you said, Monty. I think you said it was selfish.
I think it's selfish because to
He
me,
called
this is
it selfish. I call him a
my
financial
idea.
expert. He mad at me.
My idea of a marriage, right? And maybe everybody don't have this idea, right? Is a lifelong partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Lifelong partnership. You are my partner. It is me and you. Once these kids leave, it is me and you. I don't care about nothing else but me and you. The house can be dirty, we can be poor. It is me and you. I still have you, right? That's my idea of a marriage and a relationship is like my life partner. I don't even think we're going to get a divorce. That's not on my mind. Like if that happens, that'd be like, wow, that's so out of left field to me. So the idea that you have this thing and I'm contributing to it and you're like, no, this is mine. Like I'm I don't think of anything as mine, like when in the marriage. Like I don't want nothing to be mine. I want everything to be yours. I want it to be ours. Like everything. Personally, that's how I feel. Like I don't want to like you are one person on this planet that I don't want to keep anything from. So, we can protect our assets from everybody else. And of course we can have a prenup just because we understand that in life
That's
you
a
have to make
dumbass,
some big kid decisions before you get married. Right? You gotta have some tough conversations and create your set of rules. But that's why I think it's selfish because if you're coming into this marriage and you have this idea like, okay, like, um, and within reason, I understand that your premarital property is yours. I understand that. But as far as like something that we both living in and I'm paying the bills because I'm a man, so I'm paying the majority of the bills. And your idea is like, no, this is mine. Okay, off of what basis? But rationalize that to me. why this would only be yours and why you would only want it to be yours. You know, and I would like for her to make that make sense. But I don't know. What's your opinion?
That's a dumbass analogy to that. Whoever asked that question, like
Who that?
top 5 dumbest things that we've put in this chat before. Like top, no, it's not. It's number. It's probably number 1. Like it's the stupidest shit in the world because the point of comparison that you made.
How do you really feel?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just hate when people say dumb shit when it comes to money because you're using a landlord. It's asking saying, well, when you rent a home, of course not, because you're not purchasing anything. That should be common fucking sense.
And also, they don't know you like that.
It's common sense. You're not purchasing anything, so of course my tenants don't get their name put on my deed. You get your name put on the deed when you buy something, not when you rent something. Like what the?
I don't. You got a woosah, man. Woosah.
Bro, like listen, it's not a lot of nice to bother me, but like stupid, like dumb, financially illiterate logic is probably the only thing in life that triggered me right now. Like I've been working on it.
I see. Look at this.
Wind you up like that. Wind you up.
And this is the crazy part, right? Like as soon as you point out like how dumb someone's logic is, they try to support it with more questions. It just makes it worse.
So
let me make sure I understand. So she's saying if he's not purchasing the house, why would there be an expectation? Is that what you're saying, Jen? I want clarification because that's what I took her.
Yonci, just
Willie gonna jump out of his chair.
Because you said it in your voice doesn't make it any less dumb. It just means that it doesn't trigger me because you said it.
I was getting clarification.
That's the only difference.
If you want a man to not have his name on a deed, then I think it's well within his right to send you a text message and say, hey, I'm going to pay this, but all of the money that I'm putting into this home, I want back at some point. Like it makes perfect sense for him to say all of the money that I'm putting into this home, it's not a gift. And I'm letting you know that via text message, this is not a gift. This is money that I'm investing into this home. This is my money that I'm putting into this house.
I think you actually brought up a good point though about prenup and kind of a conversation.
Yeah.
So
I think
I'm for a prenup.
Yeah. Like because the government in the state, right? They have their own set of rules for people who can't come up with their own, right? Which most people don't have their own, so they have their own default rules. They're like, all right, y'all can't come up with nothing. All right, we got rules right here. So just to alleviate us using their rules, let's come up with our own rules. That's all. Our own agreement.
So that's all.
So again, does a landlord put your name? Again, Yonci, I'm going on record here. 10:33 on September 9th, 2024. That is the dumbest question that we've ever had asked. That question is dumber than every submitted question that you've asked us.
Really?
Every one of them. Especially the one where the dude was like, oh, well, maybe he found out that the kids wasn't his. Like, that is how...
No, Jen, I'm not as mean as Willie.
I'm not being mean.
It is ridiculous. It is a ridiculous question. But I would like to explain it to you how it's ridiculous so that you can understand it. The landlord is a stranger. He doesn't know you. He does not want you a part of his financial portfolio. That is his asset, and you are a stranger coming over like an Airbnb. Should I put a person that stays in my Airbnb on my deed? No, I shouldn't, because you're just giving me money. I'm a person, should Louis Vuitton give you equity in their company for you buying something from them? No, because you're just purchasing something. You're paying for a certain amount of time to live there. So yeah, it's not really a reasonable question that you asked. I think it is on the scale of ridiculous. It's it's on there.
Fucking 30. She's at 30. Like I'm so serious. It's the craziest thing in the world to me, right? It's like when you have someone tell you that 2 + 2 is 6, and then you show them that it's not 6. Like you count 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they still argue with you. Like the level of intransience that adults have in our community is dangerous.
You know what? But I'm at the age right now where if someone told me 1 + 1 = 5, I'm just gonna say, you know what? You're right. You got it.
I would too for most things other than money, because being financially literate is one thing that Black people can't do. We're not afforded that opportunity. We're not in a position where we can do that. And to demonstrate that and then support it, like I feel like it's my charge to combat that at every possible turn. Like that's not something that, because again, these people have children. So like I think about that. Like it gets deep for me. So I'm just not in a place where you can say something ridiculous about money or just logic in general that, what I'm saying, like I'm cool disagreeing with people. I love that. Because then once we disagree, I'll try to find somewhere that I can like connect with you and like we can have common ground, because that's the mature thing to do in any type of conversation debates. But when you say something stupid, there's nothing that I want to connect with you for. None. Like there's nothing that, like, because I'm saying that's literally, you're like, oh well, why would, imagine if your wife had told you that when you asked her to put your name on the deed. I promise you I wouldn't be married. I would bet money if me and you can go in the time machine right now and I could whisper in her ear and be like, hey, no, girl, tell him, why would I put you on the deed to my house? Would a landlord put you on the deed? And then have her say that to 9-year-ago virgin you would be single right now, or at least not with her. Like, I would bet a substantial amount of money for that. And I only put my money where my mouth is, because to hear a woman say that to me, or correct me if I'm wrong, or Nakashi, if a man said that to you, it makes them look crazy. And once you're deemed to be logically unfit, you're not fit for a relationship.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Nakashi, would you let a man leave you who has proven himself to not to be like logically unsound?
Absolutely not.
Like you give him a pot and he tries to grab the bottom, you're like, the bottom is hot. And he tries to grab it again, you're like, yo, the bottom is hot. He tries to grab it again, and then you just like give it to him. Like, once he shows you he's not fit to lead, you can't even find him attractive anymore.
Yeah,
like,
that is true.
All the muscles, the big sexy flexy dance moves, the charisma, all that is out the window once you know he is dumb. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we got to get back to telling people, like, hey, you're batshit crazy. We have to get back to that, because if we don't, this won't ever end.
My pagers.
You don't.
Like, what are we doing? It's a perfect example. You can't get in the car with someone that can't drive. If I go to Dallas, right? I go see Monte and Yonci. Yonci had 7 accidents. Monte had none. And for whatever reason, we let Yonci drive again. We deserve whatever happens to us. All the bad things, the car flips.
This is a hypothetical, y'all. I'm
hypothetical. Like, Yonci, the great driver. But like, if we choose to get into a car with her, knowing that she is unfit behind the wheel, stupid is me. We're done, because we knew that she's had 7 accidents the last 7 times she got in the car. But now we're in the car. Now we over here up a flag. We up here saying the light pole. I'm hanging by my insides where, glass stuck in me, and Monte is hanging by his damn seatbelt. We can't be mad at nobody but ourselves. Like, well, I proved you wrong first. I'm not insulting you, but hit dogs holler. Like, that's exactly what happens. You can't be mad at someone because, like, when you know that they're not fit. So you wouldn't follow a guy, Ray. I'm betting you, your wife is probably the most amazing woman you've ever met. If she had said that shit to you 10 years ago, you'd be single. I already know you're not dealing with it, and I'm fairly certain you guys know what I stand for. There is no way that a woman will ever be able to show me that level of intransience. And for those in the audience, that means when you have a belief or a fact or opinion that you still refuse to change it, even when given or presented with information that should require a logically or a rational person to do so, to change your mind. So intransience, free definition. Okay. So if you show me that level of intransience, you are not fit to be a partner.
So we're gonna just move right along. That was a bit intense.
All right, I have some questions for.
It's safe to say they don't agree. Okay.
I had some questions for Nakasu.
Yes, please ask.
When I was listening to her thing, I wanted to. Okay, do you consider yourself to be helpmate to a man? Feminine, like what would you like your role in a relationship to be with your ideal man?
Like kind of what Lily said. You gotta trust and you want your man to. For me, I want the man to lead.
Okay.
Some traditional things that, for example, at least something very small. Like I don't like taking out the garbage. Of course, I can take out the garbage. But I would prefer my man to take out the garbage.
Kill bugs on command.
You know, if we can't, I'll take it. You know, so there's some traditional ones I like, and some other ones it's like a conversation. So it has to work for the relationship. The
Okay.
thing. Like, okay, man works, I'm gonna stay at home. In today's economy,
Cutting out a bit, you
work.
guys.
So, hey, I have a question for you. What do you find to be the biggest challenge for you in dating?
Finding someone who can lead, or at least even honestly, it's even being a match. You know, um,
Man, I have like 50
like
answers to that.
so for me, I went on a date like last week or something. Very nice. Not, never been
Natasha,
married.
it's a
No
little
kids.
bit hard to hear you. A little
Yeah.
bit. I think maybe that
So
might be the
that's
way your
something.
phone's sitting.
Is there something playing in the background?
Not my background. Somebody
Okay.
else.
Is your phone sitting on top of on the microphone?
A little bit.
Okay, that's probably better.
That's probably better. Yeah. So went on date,
Oh, much better. Okay.
and physically, it's not usually who I go for. I'm active. If you looked at my IG, I'm trying to train for a marathon. I'm not, like a supermodel or anything, but I'm active in the gym or running and do something. And he's not exactly physically, and he's, like I said, short. But then now his follow throughs not that great. So it's really finding someone who's even matching, or nobody, and nobody's giving me butterflies. No man that I've met, been like, you know what? I could see myself something long term. Like you don't give me butterflies. There's nothing.
You said you about to run a marathon?
Mentally, physically, and obviously sexually down the road, but hit the government.
So I have a follow up question. So, when you said that you're looking, my question is it's in two parts. Okay, where do you go, or where would you go to meet someone, and where is a place that you would go but don't want to be approached at? Like I've heard some men say, "Oh, you find a good woman at church," and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking that's a terrible place to meet someone. Like you went there to serve the Lord, like not to be hit on. So I'm just saying, like where's a place that you go where you want to be approached, comparison to a place you don't want to be approached at?
I mean, there hasn't been a place I don't want to be approached at. I mean,
Same.
Like you just said, you're training for a marathon, so when you're in the gym, you're probably focused. But if a guy came to you like, "Oh, hey," you're like, "Dude, I'm busy. I'm working on me, not."
talk to me while I'm walking or running on the treadmill or something. I'm not opposed to that. It's I think how you approach a woman, kind of like your question earlier. Like somebody's like, "Hey, that's awkward. Have a conversation. I saw you working out, or wait till the set's over. You see me here lifting.
Can I add to that? So it's how they do it. I remember being in a grocery store and I had my AirPods in. I might have actually had headphones. It might have been that long ago, but I was on a call and I was actively in a call. I wasn't like listening. I'm like blah 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 blah, and he just full on starts talking to me, and it was just kind of like,
This is a life lesson. Don't
you see, like I'm on a call. It wasn't like, excuse me, can I? So I think the only way for me to answer him, they're asking her, is if a person is not reading the room as far as like what's happening. Like I'm trying to conduct a business deal. I'm trying, like, you know what I mean? But so many people say don't approach me at the gym. To me, I find there's a way to do that. Even if you can't talk to her at the moment, just be like, I thought you were gorgeous, and slip her your phone number. But if she's trying to focus, maybe wait till our set's over. But if someone's gorgeous, I'm not going to be like, oh, shouldn't have hit me at this spot.
Thing, yeah. And there's opportunities everywhere. It could be the book. Nobody goes to the bookstore, but Starbucks. You kind of mentioned the gym. I personally, I'm religious but I don't go to church, so maybe more spiritual. But I don't go to church.
Farmers market. That's romantic.
Question: did you say you're about to run a marathon? Like, what is it about like running for no reason that people love so much?
Not running for no reason.
I just don't get it. Like, if you're not getting ready to be murdered, you know what I'm saying? Like, if Michael Myers isn't chasing you, he walks. Like, Michael Myers is not even a fast guy. But like, what do you just like a marathon for? What?
Natasha doesn't. She doesn't strike me as the type of person that enjoys running. She strikes me as the type of person that wants to achieve something. So she's like, because I've met people who enjoy. They run for like 3 hours, and they just like, this is, I get a runner's high. You look like you would like to achieve something, and you want to do something you've never done before.
You're almost right. I like running for the cardio aspect of running. You know, I like that feeling of the wind in your hair and like, woo, like I do enjoy that feeling. But you're absolutely right. Training for a marathon is torture. It is not. You hit like I did half a marathon earlier this year, and that was.
What's the furthest you've ran, like mile wise?
Like 15 miles.
15 miles.
What?
Okay.
Sheesh.
At what pace?
Not anything fast. It's definitely a double-digit pace, but I'm not.
That's all.
You ran 15 miles at one time for just when you weren't getting paid or chased.
Just for kicks.
That's wild.
That feeling of a.
So I think I understand where Willie's coming from because just now learning that he's a former vet. Trust me, I did 12 years in the Army. If there was one thing I absolutely hated was running, and it was just like. Because I'm one of those guys, like, as soon as I get 1 mile in, I'm just like, God damn, we got to keep going, man.
It's running for no reason. Like, we're not racing. I run all day playing flag football. I run all day playing basketball. I'm not going to shoot nothing. I'm going to get you some rebounds, and that's it. But, like, running for no reason is like going to the strip club blind. Like, why? Why are you there? There's no point. There's nothing to get that I'll gain from running 15. I don't think that I ran 15 miles in my military career outside of boot camp. Like, I'm not.
Oh, so you were Air Force? Okay, got it.
No, I was in the Navy.
Each own.
I'm telling you right now, one thing that we can't do is make branch jokes. I'm gonna win this shit every time. So, all right, I give passes.
Give my popcorn.
Yes, I give one pass. There is it, sir.
Okay.
So, I just running is like wild. Like, I did a what do you call them? A Tough Mudder. You know how much?
Oh, those are crazy.
You know how much I had to be paid to even sign up for that? Like, if it wasn't a bet up there, I bet you can't finish a Tough Mudder. There's no way. But just a dry ass arbitrarily wake up one morning, like, you know what? I hate my knees and back. So I'm gonna go run 15 miles a day without being like, there's no reward from it. Like,
the reward is the accomplishment. It's like, I've done it. It's something for me. It's a personal thing. I have had sports injuries. It's something I never thought I could do, and I did it, or I did.
I respect that.
Wavy hair. Yes. Sorry.
Hey, listen, don't think we all know you lying about being 50. You turn 40. You just want extra credit. You ain't slick.
Can anybody on the panel sing?
No, I'm all right.
I would be like, how much bourbon do I get first? Okay.
Hey, if you made me give a choice between running 15 miles or winning American Idol, I guarantee you I'm getting that record deal. 15 miles is crazy. Like, you said you want the wind blowing through your hair and shit. Hell no. You know how long you got?
I like sprinting. I like running fast.
Yeah, the sprint is cool. Like, it's a point to that. Like, we can race. I don't want to race nobody that can run 15 miles at one time.
Mind too. Sometimes you have stuff in your mind and you just need to run.
Well, again,
she
said that she wasn't doing it fast. She just did it. Like, for she probably was.
I don't give a shit if she's walking 15 miles, bro. The pace doesn't matter. That's my thing. Like, but I see now it's tied to like a reward system. I get that, right? That's cool. I want to go to the gym and try to bench press like 500 pounds, knowing I'm about to die. But I'm gonna try it just because I can say I did it. I will never in life. You know what, man? I think I should just go run a marathon today.
Yeah, if I wasn't doing running for cardio, trying to burn calories, you couldn't pay me to run. Like,
So
If there
Willie,
were so many other better things at burning calories, like being surprisingly, being a black guy, I can swim very well. I was a search and rescue swimmer. Congratulations! Now you see why I was in the Navy. The coolest part about swimming is it's a full body workout, right? If you swam 15 miles at one time, you'll probably die. So, but you get a better workout than if you ran. I like being efficient. So if I'm running because something's on my mind, I'm going to like the boxing gym. I'm going to the gun range. I'm going to my woman's house. Like there are so many better stress relievers for me than running 15 miles. Like even with sex, I heard if you have sex, you burn like 40 calories per orgasm. I would do the math to see how many calories I burn per orgasm per.
Is that with the rose too?
Whoa, no, the rose is different because you cheat. You're not doing no work. You're just laying there being lazy and electrocuting the coochie. But like, I would calculate how many calories I burned in 15 miles of running, and then just try to go have that much sex. Like, I feel like that'd be more fun. Like, and you see the way the world goes is now it's okay to have 1,000 bottles of lube. So clearly, I can make it work.
So okay, Willie, let me ask you this, just switching up a little bit. If you met someone who is an avid reader and said, "I read 15 books a week," books that don't have anything to do with anything. They could just be like some old Terry McMillan, some old 50 Shades of Grey, and you're like,
That's
what
different.
are you reading those for? Like, would you give them? Would you say the same thing about them? Like, why are you
Yes.
reading so much?
Like, no, I would say, hey, if you're gonna read some shit, read something that's gonna make you some money. This is my thing, right? I'm hyper efficient with my effort. So, for example, I have a voracious appetite for reading. Every book that I read, I turn that time into dollars. I turn every chapter into something that I made dollars, like that I can make dollars with. I'm not reading science fiction stuff. I'm not reading like Lord of the Rings, any of that nerdy stuff like that. I watch anime, so that's where I get my fix for the weird shit. But I'm not reading books about like a woman who likes to get choked out and spanked and shit. I want to go read a book about like how I can go get free money from a bank and shit. Like that wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it did. So like I have the same thing for anyone who does anything just because. Like if there's no benefit like to it, like for me for running, again, I'm telling you, my back and knees would be kicking my ass when I was done. Like 15, I'll give you 3 miles, right? That's the most that I probably have to run at one time in my military career, outside of like some special stuff and whatever, right? 3 miles. 15 is 5 times that. So I'm gonna be 5 times as pissed off when I'm done. I'm gonna be 5 times as hungry, 5 times as sweaty. Like I'm cool. Like you get so much respect for me because you can even do it. Damn your pace. I don't care if you're running a 4-hour mile. The fact that you will run 15 miles at a time is nuts to me. Like, hey, it's Sunday, 2:00. My Cowboys lost. I should go run 15 miles. I'm gonna run myself to death for being a Cowboys fan is nuts.
So, Nikki, clearly this is a guy that you would not date.
I mean, you don't have to go running with me.
I wouldn't. If that's what it's you, I will be single forever.
But he said he respects it. So if I'm like, hey, well, babe, it's 12:00 on a Sunday. I need to get some miles in. Bye.
I'm calling your parents. That's a cry for help. I'm calling someone that loves you because clearly you don't love yourself.
You're not gonna stop me. It's my point. You're gonna be like, okay, bye. You're not gonna
stop you. Like if my woman was like, babe, I'm about to go run 15 miles, I'm gonna get naked and stand at the door and see like she's dedicated to go run that 15 miles. If she like move me and then go run 15 miles, 1, we're breaking up. 2, I'm going to the gym, and 3, I'm calling her parents. Like, what are we? Like, what's the alternative? You want to run 15 miles and get your back blown out? Like, to me, I feel that the default should be the D.
Why can't you do both?
Because I don't want to hit you after you ran 15 miles. All that lactic acid built up, you're going to be stiff and shit. Like, you're not going to be flexible, and you're going to be lazy. I don't believe no woman on earth has good vagina after she ran 15 miles.
Somebody stop this man.
He's out of me I'm lying. Mom, have you ever had a workout that was so cold that you came home and was like, damn, she finna get this lady side D tonight. Like I might be able to give her 1 or 2 positions, but that usual Superman D show I'm trying to give, I can't do it tonight. If I ran 15 miles, don't touch me for 30 days. Like I'm celibate now. Like all my sexual energy was on the street somewhere. It's inside them Air Force Ones or whatever I'm running in because I don't like to run. 15 miles, that sex is terrible.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
So yeah, to quote you, yeah. So we probably wouldn't work out, Willie.
Really, yeah, probably. I guarantee it. It is impossible.
Willie is
You have
really
a
upset
better
about the
chance
15 miles.
of Jesus coming back and like running with you as a partner than me and you working out. If you think that I got to run 15 miles to date you, I wouldn't run 15 miles to date Beyonce or Oprah or Mackenzie Bezos. I wouldn't run 15 miles to have a dinner with Jesus. Like, I'm not running 15 miles ever.
Whoa.
I'm not.
Whoa.
Like, I'm not at all. Like, talking to Jesus is cool. I just need to make sure I go to heaven. I ain't got to run 15 miles for that. I literally rather live a life sin-free than run 50. If he said, hey, you can be the most fun, dashly person ever and go to heaven if you run 15 miles, I'd rather go be a Catholic priest then before I run 15 miles. Like, I'm not doing that. Is crazy. 15, like.
So
13,
I get the
14,
impression that
15
you're
miles.
not into running.
No.
I get it. I get it.
CrossFit, cool. Swimming, cool. Running, just dry ass running.
No, dry.
Y'all tripping. Like, that's what, even in the Olympics, I watched the 400-meter relay down. Anything past 400, I don't give a shit about that. At all. Like, I want to see the fast people, not the skinny people that can run for 30 years.
Not 30 years.
The same country's winning. It's Somalia or somebody else close to Somalia that wins every year. I don't want to see that. And they all look emaciated. Like the kids we was feeding for 40 cents a day go to the Olympics. Like, that's the pipeline. 15 miles is crazy. I can't even get that shit. I can't wrap my hand around you running 15 miles.
What other pastimes, love? Oh my God, I have never seen you so triggered, Willie.
Yeah, that was
what you did when you said landlordship. That was worse.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Where was I going? Because I was asking, where was I going with these questions?
Yeah, you were going
We're
somewhere.
going somewhere with the questions, and then Willie just took us off the cliff, and we all.
I was trying to see something. Okay, so you said that you want to be pretty much like a helpmate to a man who, a traditional masculine man is what I kind of got. Ideally, that's what you want.
I mean, again, not fully. So when I mean fully masculine tradition, I'm like, I don't foresee myself staying like a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how the economy is, and I both
So
got to work.
what do you see when you have kids? What do you see?
But at some point, the woman always I don't want to say takes the hit, but like you can't have it all. Everyone's like, oh, you can have it all. You can't have it all. Somebody's got to give. You have to be at home with kids. Or you have to be, if you're the clear woman, you're going to have to be that. And be a good wife. You can't be all three at the same time. It's kind of like a balance. So if I were to have kids, that's going to be my time to be at home for that time period to help raise them, at least for that first year or two, and then we got to figure it out from there.
Okay, because you think that you would get bored?
No, I think for me, I also have a career too, so I do want to get back. But I think it is important that a mother is, especially the first year or two, it's important to help raise the kids.
Okay, so let's say that you working and going back to your career, as far as financially, really would mean nothing to the family's finances. Would you still want to do that?
What do you mean, like nothing?
Let's say he made $3 million a year. Let's say you made $150,000. So basically what you would do is a drop in the bucket, right? So do you feel like you would want to go back to work because you would get bored at home, or you feel like that's just something that you need to do?
No, how does that do with being bored at home? I mean, it'd be nice.
Okay. So what would be your reason for going back to work?
Because I like what I do. I enjoy my.
So you're going back to work because it's kind of like something fun to you?
No, because it brings you a reward. And, yeah. Because, yeah, you can have. I'm a mother owner. I'm a wife owner. You should have other interests and passions. Mm-hmm. And part of my career is I actually enjoy what I do.
Okay. So you enjoy what you do. Do you enjoy what you do because you think that are you helping people? Is that what you do? Okay, so you think that you give back to the community in some way, shape, or form? You kind of you helping people, so that's why you like what you do.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Can I?
basically, you got a question, Ray?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just made me think of something I wanted to ask earlier. In regards of a man's career, does whatever the man does for a living, like his actual title, does that mean something to you? And what I'm getting at is, let's say he's a garbage man, but he makes 120K a year.
Garbage men get no love.
Yeah. But
Dark men really are great.
Yeah, but they get no love in these questions.
But you can meet someone that's like, I'm a lawyer, but that lawyer only makes like 50K a year. I was like, so does a man's title mean anything to you?
It doesn't mean anything to me in the sense of, oh, I'm going to date the lawyer because he's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
They're both have a job, have a career, have some passion, have some focus. Like I said, I've dated a lot of different random other dudes, and you have some that are like, I'm passionate about X, Y, and Z, but they have no job, they have no actual employment. They're doing Uber Eats. Nothing wrong with Uber Eats, but that's not the career path.
That's not a career. That's a hobby at best.
They're like picking up odd jobs here and there. That's not stability.
Hey, let's not talk about us odd job workers, okay? I pick up trash at the post office for a living. That's my job.
Well, that's why you only make 60K.
So I only make 60K. Picking up trash.
I'll date a blue collar guy, a policeman. Like my dad's a cop. So
15. See, you like these 15-mile running niggas. I see it now. You said policeman. Like, is that like a thing? Is
He's
that like
practicing running from the cops? That's what.
Is that a kink for you or something? Like, oh man, when he hit mile 13, I just got so turned on. Like, what do we?
We get it. You hate running.
That's been established.
Come back to the show.
I don't even have a pair of running shoes now. Think about it. I just wear Jordans.
Yeah, you be wearing the wrong shoes. You'll be hurting yourself, breaking ankles and everything. That's wrong. Shoes.
My shoes. So yeah, I'm definitely not. I don't even walk fast.
You got PTSD from shin splints, don't you?
No, I have PTSD from being forced to run for no reason. I deployed with you're in the army, right? So I may have deployed with y'all, and y'all run for just because the sun is blue. Like, oh, okay, well, I think that the grass is wet today. Let's go run. So I've never did that again. And then two, running is never good in any context. A man tell a woman to stop running, it's typically because your man tells you to stop running. It's because you keep trying to go run for 7-8 hours at a time. Now you got a job. Like, how do you have the time to run 15 miles? Like, what do you do for a living? I have so many more questions.
We gotta get really a separate segment so he can talk about running.
Running rant.
I've never talked about running this much again in my life. This is it.
You're probably exhausted just from talking.
My feet hurt already, and I have on some very comfortable like foam insulated slides. I could just feel it. Like, you're a better woman than me. I'll say that.
Lynette, do you enjoy running?
Running. I don't need to run. I'm slim.
We're talking about just doing for leisure.
I don't need to run for anything. I'm slim.
Hey, wait. I think she means that both ways too. Like, if you look at her face, I think that was like a double entendre. She's like, I ain't gotta run from nothing. I'm slim. You know what they say about us slim ones? I see what you did there. I'm slim at 50.
By the way, New York. Two New York sisters in the house here.
That's right. Slim at 50. Thank you.
I cannot. Okay, Mon, I was enjoying your line of questioning, sir.
Oh, okay. What I talking about? I'm trying to determine like what does she. I'm trying to help her find what she's looking for, right? So okay, you think so? Where does that line go with traditional for you? Like, okay, so you said you don't want to have to be a stay-at-home mom. What else are you taking? What else are you removing from that typical masculine traditional role?
Let me rephrase. Not that I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. It's like a man's not forcing me to be a stay-at-home mom. You know what I'm saying? In that traditional sense, like I'm the man, you're the woman, you stay at home. Like that's
Okay.
Hey,
So you
I
want
got
to
a
have
question.
the option to not stay at home, is what you're saying?
yeah, choice. I think
Okay.
that's choices nowadays.
Okay. I mean, men don't have the choice.
I knew that was coming.
But that's something you guys have to live with. Most of
True.
them.
As long as you understand that there are certain things that you have to live with, and men or women are different. We get certain privileges, y'all get certain privileges.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Hey,
Gotcha.
using Mont's point, you got a guy. He makes $3 million a year. You make 150,000,
Yep.
whatever. Right? How would you feel if your man was like, "Hey, I need you to stop doing that because for the 40 hours of work hours that you put in of that work, making you $150. If you put that into what I'm doing, it'll make us another 600,000. Would you be okay doing that?
Is it gonna make us 600,000?
Like, yeah, you that's your money. Like, he still makes $3 million, but you're making another $450,000 doing the same work, but for him.
That's a tough one because so the whole point of
Oh
it's
no.
not good in theory, but you want to protect yourself too, right? You don't want
It's your money.
pull
Yeah.
the rug like any moment he's controlling your money.
Oh well.
He's
Okay.
looking for him. So
So say he did that 3 years later, and you've made $1.8 million. Are you still worried about that rug?
I'm still gonna be hurt. I'm still investing my time and my love.
Hold on. Cause I need to
$1.8
understand
million.
the.
You can get all that shit.
To
You can
walk
buy that.
away, I mean, you'll probably be walking away to get 100, crying, but
Because I need to understand where this comes from. So
save up everything that you cared about.
Wipe your face with
okay.
dollar bills. They're usually more used and softer. Just so I've heard. They work in strip clubs for a reason. Go ahead.
So you would maintain your job because of in case you guys get a divorce, pretty much. You want to have something to fall back on.
Security blanket. That's the thing.
A security blanket. What if he could provide you a security blanket? What if
Take away too.
what you say?
He who gives can take away that also.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He said what he gives, he can take away also.
Thank you.
That's not true. A gift is a gift. So okay, so if you had an account with a certain amount of money, you feel like he could take that back if it's in your name, or an investment account, and you got a certain amount of money going into it every month, and you
Isn't it the same reason men sorry to cut in, but isn't it the same reason that men don't want to move in with a woman because they say the minute she gets mad, if she can kick you out? Like we're not any different. We realize our vulnerability.
That's
That
is completely different.
That's a better example than the other one shit that was they posted.
No, that's true, but it's completely different. That's like saying a man should never let a woman pay all of the bills. Yes, no, he should not let a woman pay all the bills because she will resent you at some point. It's just the nature. At some point, she will resent you because you're a man. Moving in with a woman is just it doesn't make sense because at some point she will be like, "You're in my house. Like, what are you doing to substantiate the reason that you're in my house?" So it just doesn't make sense for a man to move in with a woman. And I understand to a degree that a woman wouldn't want to put all of her eggs in one basket with a man, but also at the same time I'm torn because I think that marriage is like you supposed to trust this person and you are supposed to you're one person now. That's different. And I'll explain why it's different. Right? I'll explain why it's different.
Okay.
A prenup is something for you both. It is our set of rules in case the dissolution of our marriage, right? It's a grown-up thing that we just got to get this out the way. It'll take 1 second and we don't look at it again. Versus somebody having a job or a career that will affect our marriage and our lifestyle for as long as she wants to have this. Right? That will affect that to some degree. What if she's a nurse?
What I'm saying is the mindset behind it. Fear is the controlling factor for a lot of things. Willie said, I don't want to get into a marriage like a big part of it is because of you're incentivizing a woman to leave you. Like,
Wait. Add the part where I said with today's modern woman. That's important.
okay, with
That's
today's
important.
modern woman, but the point is, a lot of men say they're scared to get married because they're more afraid of divorce and the aftermath than they are in love with the idea of love and marriage. So I don't think that could then be flipped on women and made it seem like it's a woman thing, because as somebody who was in that position, that person has you by the proverbial balls. If they're paying your bills, they can at any point, even if you try to leave them, they can be like, I'm gonna cut you off access, and you can't even afford an attorney to represent yourself. Or they can run circles around you. They can afford to get a forensic accountant to hide money for you, for them, whatever. Like, you are not on equal playing field when you don't have the same money. And so that's why I went from being super traditional to having like oh, I can kind of see where this could really be a bad situation. And I feel like sometimes men talk out of both sides of their mouth, because on the one hand, they understand the value of money and how important it is to have it, and that makes them feel like they can run the house. But then they want to downplay the money and be like, what's the big deal? You're completely and utterly dependent on me for every cent. So
I understand what you're saying, right?
why
But
your
it is
little face we
this is the
said
thing. This is the thing, right? So it's everything got risk and reward, right? You have a certain amount of risk assessment with everything. So as far as a prenup, which will benefit you and it will benefit both parties, right? Of course, it's like, okay, I'm doing this because of a fear at some point, but it's such a minuscule thing for us to do to have peace of mind later. Then it's worth that, it's worth kind of taking the time to do that versus you having an entire job or a career. Let's say you're a nurse and you work 10 hours this day, you work 10 hours this day, you work 12 hours that day. That is something that is long term affecting our marriage versus something that's like, okay, a prenup, yeah, we got a little bit of fear, because you can have fear of quitting your job. I totally understand having that fear there, and maybe taking a leap, or maybe like, all right, I'll quit my job, but we need to come up with something that'll give me some sort of protection. I get it.
what if you would you be willing to write into the prenup that if you didn't work out, she would get like whatever amount she would have gotten had she been working, since she's giving, because not only is she giving up the money, she's giving up her experience in the field. And like for me, when I went to try to go back and work, they were like, your experience is 12 years old. Like we're not even the same time zone, right? Like you're like another lifetime. It's like you're on fax machines and we're on emails, lady. So I don't necessarily think that's easy to just jump back in. My first job was $10 an hour in 2015 because my experience was like a joke.
I think it would make sense. So if let's say you're a doctor and you make $300,000 a year, I think it would make sense for at that given moment, like if he's like, all right, well, if we ever get a divorce, and certain, due to certain circumstances, I can't just be like, oh, I want a divorce randomly, and you think that I'm gonna, pay for your lifestyle fully. But I think if you ever get a divorce for a reasonable reason, I think it makes sense to give her, a median of what doctors are making at that point if you got that type of money.
For
I
how
think that
long?
makes sense. It depends. Like, how long was y'all married? Were we married for 30 years? Were we married for 10 years? Were we married for
Let's
5
say
years?
15.
15 years? It makes sense to do maybe like, and it all depends. Like, it all depends on like, okay, what was your career and how long would it take you to get back into that and start making money? Like, whatever, it just would have to be very reasonable. It would have to make sense. So like, let's say it's 6 years for you to get back in and kind of to learn and kind of catch back up or whatever. I don't know, but anything that's reasonable, I would want us to come up with a reasonable agreement so that we both are like, I'm good with that.
I will say this as somebody who has gone through the divorce process. There is an ideal sense. I think everyone goes into it like, hey, we don't hate each other. We just realize we're not a good fit, or let's not even get attorneys, because why are we going to pay attorneys when that's money we're fighting over? And then you actually get down to it, and people show you a really nasty side of them when they are going through a divorce. So I think that in theory, that sounds great. But if you utterly resent this woman and you have contempt for her for whatever reason you guys are divorcing, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
Those reasons should be inside the prenup. Like that's what I want in my prenup. Like depending on we gonna have reasons for divorce and what happens in each of those scenarios. Like if you did you cheat on me? Did you just randomly want to get a divorce? Did you not have sex with me for the last 6 months? Like these things will I want those in the prenup. I think those things make sense.
So Monty, like, just something I also want to point out because I'm hearing prenup a lot. Like, just one thing to keep in, just to be aware of, you know, there is no such thing as an ironclad prenup.
I was going to ask that question next.
Yeah, it was like prenups could still get broken. Like even though you say I signed this agreement, and it was like, yeah, but when? Like times change. Like if you said you signed a prenup and that prenup's 15 years old, and then you could say, oh, throughout that time maybe you acquire certain assets. What your income was 15 years ago isn't the same then. So I'm just saying there is no such thing as an ironclad prenup.
In that case that's when you really need counsel, right? Because you have to ask your lawyer, get a good lawyer, and you have to ask them, okay, what are some reasonable things? What are some things that you've seen happen like through your experience? What works and what doesn't work? And I think most lawyers will tell you the most ironclad prenup is like the whatever's in get your own bank account, she get her own bank account, whatever's in her name is hers, whatever in your name is yours, whatever in the joint bank account is both of yours. But there like I've seen there are prenups where a man said every 10 pounds you gain, every 10 pounds you gain is a certain amount that I'm not giving you, and that was held up in court. So and also like certain things like okay,
the shorter you last, the more I get.
Whatever can be proven, and also when you guys sign this prenup, it's best to both have counsel, so that you can't say that I signed this prenup and I didn't know what I was. You both had counsel when you sold the prenup. You had an attorney, she had an attorney. We signed the prenup, so like that's another thing. So yeah, just learn, do research, talk to different people, and don't just write a prenup and think that that it's just going to stick, and you haven't done the research and you haven't talked to good lawyers and you're not putting in things that he's like, yeah, you should put that in. That makes sense. That's something that we can fight and that's something that we can keep. So yeah, nothing's 100%, but I understand what you're saying too.
So, and another thing I just want to point out is like when people talk about like adultery, like you could bring that up in court, but the steps you have to go to prove that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I say this because with my mother's former husband, right? When she had to prove adultery, I'm talking about like she had to bring in eyewitnesses to say like, our neighbors saying like, yep, I saw him on this time at that day with that woman. And he did. I mean, it was like she damn near had to come in there and say, yep, here's a full-on sex tape to say this was him cheating. Because you can't just walk into a courtroom and say he cheated. He's just gonna say, prove. It's like, I got a text message. How you know that was me texting? I was like, seriously, it was like, no, show me a photo, show me actual video that said this is what I did. If you can't do any of that, it's called hearsay.
But that's also why you need to put that in your prenup, because I've thought of that already, right? You need to put in your prenup, okay, how will we prove that you cheated, right? How will we prove that this person was, infidelity? Will you just go to a jury? Will you let them decide? Will you plead your case? You lay your stuff out, they lay their stuff out, and they're like, you know what, we believe her, an arbitrator. Like, how will you go about that? But I think that you should definitely, because you can't necessarily prove something 100% unless you got it on video, but you have to put in the prenup, how will we go about that? What you say?
And now there's AI, so
Oh yeah.
So just put in the prenup like, okay, this is how we will go about deciding on whether you cheated or not. We would just leave it up to a group of people. We would let them pick. They would hear us out. We would do, an independent arbitrator. They would hear us out and they would make a decision or whatever. So, yeah.
I mean, right. Yeah. Also,
I mean, it sounds well and good, but
there's only one way to find out.
And this is also something that I ask a lot of my female friends: define cheating, because when I hear the word cheating, like it gets thrown around so much. Like, if someone said, let's say me and Yonci, we were dating, one of her girlfriends say, "Oh, I saw Ray having lunch with such and such." oh, he cheated. Like, how the hell is that cheating? Like, you don't even know who that was. But some women might say, oh, that's cheating. You broke bread with another woman. You
Mhm.
know, like that's a question that I always want to know. Like, especially
Every
when
contract needs
day one in
definitions.
the beginning in a relationship, when you say cheating, I'm like, no, you gotta tell me define cheating
Hmm. Yeah,
because
every
it's,
contract
it's
needs
not
definitions.
crystal clear with everyone else. You might
Mhm.
say, oh, you texting a girl after 9 p.m. I'm the kind of guy that's like, oh, if you're insecure, here, I'll show you. Like,
Violation.
yeah, I would be like, I don't,
This
I don't
phone
know.
ring
It's not
after.
cheating to me. Like, you may
Mhm.
say that's common sense. It's absolutely not common sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think every contract needs definitions, which is why certain things have a legal definition. Different states might have different definitions for how they define certain things. But I think the terms inside of your prenup need to be defined by you. Like we were about to have a debate, we would start out by saying, okay, we're debating this, and okay, how do you define this? Is how I define this. Do you agree with that? And you would say, yes, I define it the same way. Then we could go and we could debate. So no, I agree. It would need, we would define those terms inside the prenup.
Mhm.
This is cheating. This is that. We would define everything that we're using.
Like, I would tell you this. I would tell the group this honestly. A week before I got married, my wife approached me with a prenup. And it was really just because, again, like I mentioned earlier, when I met her, she already owned a house,
Yeah.
but she wanted like to ensure like her assets were protected, so to speak, and
Mhm.
it was like she owned like two cars and that house, so she wanted to make it clear, oh, if something were to happen, I keep my stuff, and I couldn't help but to feel like it's funny. These three things here are what I'm actively paying for right now, but you think that I want to be in a position to take it from you?
Mhm.
I was like,
What's up?
Yeah.
long story short, didn't sign it because I was like, she was trying to make it seem like if you don't sign it, we're not going to get married. So I called her bluff, and I was like, I'll see you on the 29th. Okay. It still happened. But the point that I'm saying is that here's 9 years later,
Mhm.
it wouldn't even matter because none of those things even exist now. So it would have been like,
Yeah.
had me sign a prenup for something that doesn't even matter. It wasn't
Yeah.
like you can't make me sign a prenup on things that you think you're going to obtain later. Like saying, oh, in the event if we buy a house, it's like you want me to sign a prenup on something that doesn't exist at that time? Like, no. I was like, that's not going to be the
Mhm.
case. She was to try to approach me or anything. There's this thing called marital property, where
Yeah.
it's just
Marital property.
like, did you buy it together or did you just buy it while married? It was like that. Those are clear definitions right there. But
Mhm.
for me, I'm gonna tell you now, I don't really focus on that because it's like I focus on actually empowering the marriage, not in case shit happens.
Mhm.
Like that's just me. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna force my ideology on anyone else because
Yeah.
whatever works for you, you know.
Mhm.
But I can tell you now, it's like, am I the breadwinner in my family? Yes. But if something were to happen, I don't try to think of it as like, oh, she's a gold digger, she'll be doing this. It would be more so at the bottom line. It's like, we have kids. For
Mhm.
me, it's a matter of, are they fine? Are they taken care of? Like, if I
Yeah.
didn't know where my kid was sleeping at or what they were eating, that would bother me to my core. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
sitting there thinking that, oh, she gonna take my money and go get her nails done. I'd be like, no, because you know what? My kids are gonna see that. I don't gotta speak negatively about it. They're gonna see that. They're gonna take notice to that. So at the very end of the day, it'll be like, if you want to say it, oh, then I'm still gonna win
Yeah.
because my kids are gonna know that, oh, daddy goes hard for them all day, every day.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
don't focus on divorce. I'm like, no, what's going to make us win? And
Yeah.
honestly, I think that's probably the only reason why I got this far in life anyway.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I think that it's just a mature, because to me a marriage is a business, right? And I don't know about you, but are there certain things that you require out of your woman that maybe you would not want to be with her if she didn't do those things, or if she wasn't those things? Do you require your woman to have sex with you?
Yeah, yeah.
And if she said, you know what, I just no longer want to have sex with you, would that be a deal breaker for you?
That's going to take some counseling to get down to the root of it. I'm like,
Mhm.
But bottom line, like if it was just like no, we're gonna have to figure some things out. Like, cause I'm
Well, it
like,
might not be like if she said, "I don't want to have sex with you. I don't want to physically pleasure
like me
you, nothing like
or
you,
just
you
overall. Anyway,
personally, and you personally." She just said, "Yo, I don't want to have sex with you no more."
oh, just me.
Um,
Not meaning that
you.
she'll have sex with someone else, but just not me.
No, but like she's not gonna cheat either, but she just don't want to have sex with you, and you not allowed to have sex with nobody else. Would that then for you be like, you know what, that does not work for me?
Yeah, that's not gonna work for me.
Okay, so there are certain things that you require or want from a woman in order for you to be with her and give her what she requires from you.
I'm sure there are. I just can't
Well,
think of
sex
what.
is one of them.
Well, yeah, okay, that's one of them. Yeah.
Sex is one of them. That physical connection, you
Hmm.
know. So basically, if she didn't do that, you'll be like, "Yo, this doesn't work for me," because we're coming together, but at the same time as us building something together and becoming one, there are certain small things that I would like from you that would just make me happy. And if I didn't have those things, that would I can't live that way.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I think of a marriage like a business to some degree. I think of all relationships like a business. Businesses are more efficient than relationships because often with relationships we tell ourselves, "Oh, this isn't, we don't need no writing, we don't need anything, we can just go about this, we can just freestyle it." But I think if you go about a marriage or a relationship like a business, you understand that there are certain things that I'm getting from you, there are certain things that you're giving to me, and if one day one of us refuse to do that or no longer wants to do that, then now we know that we're at a different place now, and we got to reevaluate where we are. And I think that contract that you guys have has a list of things that you will in procedures that you'll do when that moment comes, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
like, okay, you no longer want to have sex with me. Now our marriage paperwork says that we have to go to counseling. That's step one.
Hmm.
We have to try to communicate. We have to try and work it out. Step two might be this, and step three might be a divorce. But you have a like a business. You have your bylaws, and you have you have your board inside of a business. Maybe you put a board inside for your prenup. Hey, we have a board. We have to go talk to these people who are our close friends or our mentors. We have to talk to them, and we have to try and see you know um their opinion, and we have to listen to them. Um, so just it's just a you're being proactive about things that you, of course, don't want to happen, but one day may. It's like life insurance. I don't want to think about my mom dying. You don't want to think about your mom dying, right? Nobody wants to think about their kids dying.
Right,
But
right.
is it reasonable and is it a better decision to get life insurance?
Yes, it is. See,
It is, right?
and that's the thing. Like people tend to forget that it's the one certainty in life. Like no one's going to live forever. But the thing
Hmm.
is, it's harder to sell life insurance to a younger crowd because let's face it, when you were young, you thought you were immortal, like nothing could touch you.
Hmm.
It's not until you get a little bit older and then you realize, man, I'm not getting out of this chair as fast as I used to, or
Hmm.
like certain things that you may eat and drink, like it takes its toll on you. So it's like
Yeah.
then that's when you start thinking about your mortality, and then go,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I'm gonna need this. But then you also got to keep in mind, life insurance is not for you; it's for your loved ones.
Hmm.
It's not a amount like the same amount. Like I think I was talking to some of my other military buddies about this. I'm like, that same $40 that you just spent on that bottle could have ensured that if something happened to you right now, would have been used for your family getting maybe like 300 grand if you got hit by a bus right now. And the cost would be that one bottle. That's all it
Hmm.
would take. I was like, put it on auto pay so you're not physically paying somebody. It just comes out
Hmm.
of your account. You won't even think about it because you don't know when it's going to happen. But I can
Yeah.
guarantee it's going to happen.
Hmm.
Just my 2 cents.
Yeah, but some people don't necessarily get life insurance only for like when their kids grow old, right? A lot of people get it for because one maybe something might happen to them before they get old, you know. Maybe my kids might go before me. And maybe
Get
I
them
want to
life insurance.
what you say?
Get them life insurance.
Yeah, like you can get your kids life insurance, but of course we don't want to think about our kids dying before us or something happening to them early in life. But life insurance is, a protection in case something does happen to them early in life that you don't want to think about. So I just when it comes to like prenups and stuff like that, it's something that you don't want to think about, but it's a potential thing that can happen in the future. Even with your best friend, let's say you got a best friend, it's possible that y'all might have a falling out. Most of the time, you probably won't. With us men don't really, do a lot of that. But you might have a falling out one day, and you would it be awesome if you guys had a set of rules of how will we handle this disagreement?
You know what would be awesome?
What? What time is it? Oh. You lucky. I'm actually. I want to go upstairs. Yeah. Hopefully she not asleep, because that's the only reason I ain't give more money.
I got you good this time. Thank you, everybody, for watching this show. We caught them slipping, y'all. If you like the show, drop it in the comments. We will see you next week. It's all love, Mont. I hate to.
Oh, for sure.
Mid-sentence, but that was way too much fun. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us, Ray.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.